fetal position rebirth.
Hello, and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday, the 1st of February, 2026. I'm your host, Dan Train. Joining me today, Zachary Burgess.
I'm tired and stressed.
And Robert Kemp.
You didn't run a half marathon, boy.
Well, I'm not tired in that way, that's for sure. I'm tired.
Did that make you tired but less stressed, potentially, Rob?
I think in a weird way, yeah, actually. I wouldn't say I felt stressed afterwards. Just please, everybody leave me alone. Oh, no, not quite that bad. Not quite that bad. Yeah, just it put me in a very weird place after doing a half marathon. Obviously, I haven't. This is only the second one I've ever done, and it was I hadn't done one since 2020, I think. So a whole 5 years ago, and yeah, I was a special kind of tired after that.
Wow. Where was this?
Seville.
Ah, yes, international runner.
I did. So it's my first, as my mate Justin keeps going on about. It's like, yeah, you got a European half under your belt now, mate.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what's it like. He seems to think like getting a European race is a checkbox that runners need to check, and I'm like, well, I don't really care. It was like it was a race to do attached to a holiday. Like,
okay, but did you put it at the end of the holiday so you weren't destroyed for the holiday?
Yes, it was. Well, in retrospect, I'm not 100% sure it was, like, because obviously you're on holiday and you're in a place if you've never been to a place before, and you're doing a lot of wandering around.
That's true.
So my legs were kind of feeling it after a few days of quite a lot of walking and miles chasing in a foreign country. It was, yeah, I was a little bit tired, to the point where we sort of made a point of, like, the day before, like, let's have less of a day. Can we just do much less and just sit around more?
Drink orange juice and shit.
Yeah, have a slower paced day. But I had to walk to the start of it, like, which was quite a long walk to get there.
Oh.
And so yeah, my legs were already starting to feel it before we even began.
So did you do it with anyone else from your running?
Yeah, there were 4 of us that were running it.
Sweet.
Which was nice. But yeah, I didn't see any of them after 2 miles. So got to 2 miles and we all kind of split and disappeared.
Separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fast one was fast right from the start, so we didn't see him at all.
So what's the temperature in Seville in January?
About low to mid-teens.
Okay.
Pleasant. But also quite damp, as it turns out.
Dank.
Yeah. It's like here, but warmer. Like the UK, but warmer. So yeah, it was all right. It was all right. I think we got lucky. The forecast was way worse, like, in terms of the rain, than it actually was. So we got some sun, but it wasn't a hot sun. It was nice. I hear that place gets absurdly hot during summer.
Oh yeah, it's quite far south, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much southern Spain.
That's like all I know about Seville is, like, obviously it was in the kind of Islamic influence.
Yes, yeah. It gets a lot from Morocco.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Cool.
I was told it wasn't a particularly well organised event. It's the biggest event I've ever done, but the 2 of us that had done a lot more of these were like, yeah, it was. In someone I was running with, who's normally quite polite about these things, just went like, yeah, the organisation was shit. It's just like, yeah, all right, fine. Yeah, I guess you'd know. But it did seem, yeah, like insanely crowded to get to the start, like through this tiny little funnel, to the point where like a lot of people didn't get to the start line in time for the start of the race.
Yeah, gosh.
Like, you know, it was, and then not because they weren't there, they were there, but they just couldn't get to the start line. Yeah, it was quite bad. And then when you finish, it's like there was like what felt like nearly another mile of just walking up this large street before you got to the end to double back on yourself, come back through that same funnel so you could then get to the exit the other side and get through bag drop and things like that. It was, yeah, kind of bad. But probably the most egregious problem with the whole thing is like they decided to put the start finish straight somewhere where it was impossible to have spectators. So you couldn't have anyone like geeing you on the very last on the very last segment. End. Yeah, like
what?
Yeah, it was really stupid.
That is dumb.
I mean, the road is nice and wide at that point. It's a really big, straight ass road. So like, I guess that's a pretty good reason to do stuff there. But yeah, there's like a park on one side that they were not allowed to put stuff up. Like they're not allowed to put stands or the bag drop or anything. They're not allowed to do anything with that space. And on the other side, there's some sort of building complex where it has a similar problem. And it's just like, well, okay, perhaps you could have just moved this a bit further up the street and not taken up the whole street. With running, I don't know. I think there are much better ways to this could have been sorted in a similar location.
Sure.
With similar levels of road closure, it's like they could figure this out.
So when your friends said they've seen a lot better organised, was that in Spain too? I wonder if it's a Spanish thing.
No, I think they do Polish runs. Primarily. I can't remember where else they've been off the top of my head. But yeah, one of them in particular does all kinds of bonkers marathons. Like he's done secret nuclear bunker marathon or something where it's just running around tunnels for a marathon distance. Not a half marathon, a full ass marathon. Like,
that does not sound fun.
No, it does not. And I think, is it this weekend or next weekend? They're doing one in a car park. A multi-story car park. Marathon. And it's like, these sound like the worst ideas.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, they're mental. But, fair play. They can actually do them. So,
it's that Tim Vine joke, crime in multi-story car parks, wrong on so many levels. Yeah.
But
so, Zach, why are you stressed?
Because my PC is dying, or
what?
More or less dead, kind of.
But this is your new machine.
Yes, well, the pump of the water cooler is giving out.
Oh shit, really? Already?
Yeah. Like, in theory, the initial idea is that there was a bubble in it, because it started making a noise, and you're like, okay, there's a bubble in it, right?
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's what everyone says, but then I did the thing which is like the only thing you really can do, because it's all a sealed system, of course, where it's just like tilt the machine in various different directions to try and work the bubble out of the system. Ideally, while it's running.
I guess if it floats in the right place, then it's not so much of a problem.
Well, the idea is to get it out of the pump and into the radiators.
Yeah.
Because if it's just sitting in the radiator block, then it's not going anywhere. If it's oriented the right direction. So
as long as it's not block and flow in some way and things are still going around, then get it out of the pump. That sounds fine.
So I tried doing that, running the PC at various different angles, and occasionally it would get better for a minute, but then it just came back, and which makes me think it's probably not actually a bubble, or even if it was a bubble, it might have just damaged the thing in the process of there being a bubble.
Possibly.
So now it makes a rattling noise all the time. So I basically and also the temperatures have started looking increasingly bad gradually, which suggests that the water flow probably isn't going that well. So I've been having my PC be off mostly until I need to check an email or whatever while ordering parts.
Yeah, that's surprising because that's not been. You've not had that long, have you?
2 years, I guess.
Oh, okay, longer than I thought, but that's pretty short for an AIO lifespan.
Yeah, although it is probably a real cheap one, relatively speaking.
Sure.
And
the ones you can't actually get into and top up and stuff, they all tend to be in this sort of slightly cheaper bracket, right?
Well, sure. But also it may be slightly undersized, like when I was actually looking at it, and also you can't even buy the size that one is any longer, apparently. So everyone has moved on from that size and just gone to the second tier, I guess, of size.
I mean, you mean size of radiator, right?
Yes, it's basically how many fans are in a line against the radiator is how it's scaled.
Yeah, right, because tends to be in 240 or 360s. Yes, I think
that's two fans or three fans.
Will it fit in your case, a bigger one then?
Well, it's going to be differently oriented because the one I have currently, which is the small one.
So you only had a 120, one fan, or was it one bigger fan?
It's one fan, but it's technically two fans because it's on either side of the radiator.
Oh, interesting.
So it theoretically gets better airflow through even just a one size radiator.
Yeah, I can see that, but yeah, interesting. That's not
And that's why
weird.
it was on. That's why it's mounted on the back of my case rather than the top.
right.
But then now I'm going to have to mount it to the top of the case because it won't. There's no space to do that on the back,
Yeah,
obviously.
especially if you can't get one that's not that's the same shape.
Yes, so
That's interesting. I must have missed that phase in.
yeah,
yeah,
evidently I might have just got in right at the end of that phase.
Yeah, maybe.
Before people decided that was probably not the best, and we're just like, no, we're just going to go with the 2-fan method from now on.
I heard Digital Foundry talking about some stuff at CES about what's going on with cooling, and I don't really understand because it seems like there's buzzwords around it now, like
Well,
to describe
as there
it,
is for
like
all-
positive pressure designs, and I'm like, okay, what's that? I guess I could look it up, but like I don't care that much because I've got a machine that works. So
Yeah, it's going to be. I think the biggest
that's a
problem for me with fixing this thing when I actually get the part, which should turn up tomorrow, is going to be like, obviously because my machine was built by professionals,
Right.
which means the cable management is extremely tight, which means I might have to have a nightmare unwinding a whole bunch of stuff to even get the cables out and in.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's probably nice, but also an absolute pain to then repair.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's potentially the possibility that, like, depending on where the cables exactly are, like, I might just disconnect the old ones and just leave them in there.
I assume if it's been 2 years, you're out of like warranty.
Yes, just barely.
Oh, suck.
2 years was
damn.
the warranty.
Of course.
Yep, naturally.
Terrible. But could you get those people to repair it anyway? If you, by paying?
I don't think so. They don't. The website doesn't seem to suggest they have a repair service or anything. They only
That
do
would
building.
be a surprise for their own product.
You would have thought so.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have warranties, you'd think they'd kind of inherently have to do repairs in some way.
Right.
Yeah, but it would definitely be more of a pain in a way than if you can just do it yourself.
Yes, which hopefully I can. Hopefully. I tried them.
So the part coming tomorrow is the new radiator that fits on the top.
Well, the whole
2
thing.
fans.
It's a sealed
Right,
system,
the
of
whole
course.
thing.
Because
Yeah.
going to have to take.
So you have to take it off the
Off the
CPU.
CPU,
Yes.
yeah.
And
Yeah, that means you're
put
going to
new
have to
thermal
rethermal
paste
it.
on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of that.
That's the
fun
bit that's going to be
times.
annoying.
Gibbons had to do that recently as well. He had to replace his AIO. And
But I tried
At
them.
least you can keep the CPU in the socket. You'd
Yes.
have to.
yeah,
That's
thank heavens for that.
I did try and buy one because, like, obviously the one that's in there at the moment is branded for the shop that made the PC. So I had to look up to find out what brand that actually is.
Right,
And
yeah.
I was like, maybe I can get one. Well, initially I was like, maybe I can get the exact same one, but obviously can't because it's not that size any longer. But then I
Then
was
would
like,
you want the exact same one if you knew what the failure rate
well, yeah,
was?
exactly.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, I can get one that's from the same brand, but the new style. So maybe it'll make it slightly easier to fit. Like maybe I won't even have to reinstall the back plate and stuff because if all the screws are the same, possibly.
I mean,
We'll have to see.
Usually, yeah, you don't need to do any of that stuff because it should all be like standard
Standardised,
fittings
yeah.
now.
And
For the most part, I think Kipper's ran into that problem with his where it wasn't quite, the one he had wasn't quite standard per se. Yeah.
I take it you're not going to splash out and get one which has a little screen on it with an infinite gif of Gandalf nodding on top of the CPU.
well, in some ways, you're in the classic situation that Ram got to with like LEDs and stuff, where it's like you almost can't not buy those.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh no, wait, I found one that's got no screens and no RGB even.
Wow.
So I can solve that problem of my back fans like always being on when the PC's off.
Right, yeah.
By
Okay,
just not
well,
having
silver
lights in it any
lining.
longer.
I mean, in fairness, you don't have to. Like, if it's one that has an RGB controller, you just don't plug that in.
Well, if
And
it
then-
has separate cables for that, because
Yeah.
a lot of them have it all on one cable.
Oh, and then you won't. Yeah, then you won't get any control.
Yeah.
like because they'll tend to just have power because they are separated things.
Well, they bundle the cable together in like it depends on. There's different sockets apparently. Like there's a certain plugs on some motherboards just manage everything in one.
Oh, yeah.
But
That's not what these ones are. the ones I've got are all separate cables.
I haven't looked at my thing, but I think it is on a separate plug for like the fan and everything. And I'm also wondering whether I should attempt to keep the back fan, like one of the 2 fans that are attached to the other radiator.
Oh, what? Just as an exhaust?
Yeah. But I don't know if that would be better or worse, because, like...
There are, yeah. This one I have seen a little bit of discourse about. It's like because I've got an exhaust on this machine, but there's a like on the back. But
Yeah.
I'm when I was reading about whether to do that or not, there's like two schools of thought, because in some ways maybe you don't want an extra exhaust because you actually do want like any air that you are exhausting to be primarily pushed over a radiator of some description. So whether or not the exhaust makes sense or not is questionable.
Or could you do the even more ridiculous thing and turn it around and have it be another intake? Push even more air inwards.
I mean, there doesn't seem to be much of a problem with that, because I think that's what if I understand right, I think that's what they mean by these positive pressure designs, where it's just blow as much in as you can and it has to come out.
It has to come out somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure, just from looking at my fan control and having a brief look at the motherboard, that like I do have basically a free fan connection that's only fan. So I could just plug
only fans.
Only fans, yeah.
If I could extract that back fan's wire and re-plug it into that, possibly. The trouble is that I think because that radiator has those two fans sandwiched on it, they might be daisy-chained, which might make that much more annoying.
I imagine they would be, yeah. Like CPU coolers that have that block design, right? They tend to just be treated as one fan.
So that's going to be annoying and a pain and kind of scary in some ways. And I also ordered a new keyboard at last because I was on Amazon.
Hey, right, what did you go for? This is the real
chat.
No, just another Logitech.
This is almost as important as like what kettle do you buy, Zach? Like, it's like kettle then keyboard is the hierarchy.
Well, I think probably we've replaced kettles way more frequently than I've replaced keyboards.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I've only had this keyboard for like 20 years or whatever. Probably. But yeah, I just got another random Logitech one to match all my other Logitech stuff, so it's all managed by the same, well, not driver, but app.
Yeah.
I guess.
By the way, did you experience this? Did I talk about this last time? But there was a problem with the Logitech app, where, and I heard about it over Christmas, but I didn't realise that it was going to affect me, and then it did, where they forgot to like renew a certificate, and then it failed to phone home, so it couldn't update, and so there was no way to update it apart from realising that was the problem.
Doing it, yeah.
Yeah, because it just spun forever, and so it was only because. Obviously, I had to Google it or whatever. It was like, I was saying, oh yeah, someone forgot to update the certificate, so you had to manually reinstall it.
That's so easily done.
I know, but like, it's so funny. It's like my mouse doesn't work because someone forgot to renew a certificate. That's funny.
Wait, so it actually stopped working?
Yes, it did. It actually stopped working. Yeah.
Okay, that's really bad.
Because the mouse still worked, but like the scrolling was weird, or not how I'd set it in the Logitech settings, or whatever. So it actually stopped working.
Wait, so the Logitech settings, there's no local store of them, then it had to go to the cloud to get your
I don't know what was wrong with
settings, and that certificate was fake. That's so weird.
I mean, I guess Logi Options Plus is the application.
Yeah, I think I've got that.
I think it was on Mac, by the way.
Yeah,
so it doesn't affect Windows.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I've got that Logi Options app on my work PC for some of the hardware we integrate with for that. It's like
anyway, but it's one of those things of like, oh, I can't. My light switch doesn't work because the cloud is down. It's one of those moments, you know.
God.
Anyway, sorry, Zach.
I'm amazed I haven't really run into too much trouble with that in my smart home, particularly.
Well, apart from them shutting down various bits of the services over time.
Yeah, I mean, that happened, but it was all fairly recoverable, and not super difficult to recover either. It's like there's not been a disaster where it's been like I actually can't control stuff. It's been like routines, or my automations that have broken in some ways. But it's not like I can't turn a light switch on. That's never happened.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
But is your keyboard mechanical, though? I saw that a lot of the options were on the Logitech site.
Yeah, that was the problem that I was having, because I was like, I don't want a properly mechanical one. I want a less mechanical one.
A more less.
But I don't know, I was just like, I was looking. Well, in the end, it's almost like you have less options, because I also want like a full size keyboard, and they keep not making them full size and doing weird things with it. Like,
that's true.
So, what are your options on that front? Say you're just an office worker, right? And you want to give, or your company wants to give your office workers not mechanical, because I'm sure in an office that's probably incredibly like disruptive to have everyone going clack 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 clack. That'd be quite a cacophony. But it's like, what is your option there? Like, to give them good but not ridiculous keyboards.
I'm sure there's a bunch of other manufacturers that aren't Logitech who make a bunch of shit keyboards, like Dell or whatever, probably.
Sure, but I mean, is that the option? You just have to get a full size keyboard that's from someone like that doesn't have any fancy.
Why would
utility?
that not be the option? That's the option it's always been, even to the point of like semi-ergonomic keyboards that are like, they're still just basic, but they are shaped weirdly or whatever.
Sure. I guess what I'm asking is that market still exists, right?
I'm sure it does.
Okay.
But I did make sure when I was buying the keyboard that it did in fact have media buttons, because that was really the only thing I was worried about.
So what you need is a keyboard from the 90s.
Yes.
Do they not normally have media buttons?
I mean, my one doesn't.
Well, sometimes they'll have the media as like a function shortcut on top of the function keys,
yes,
but that's no good. You've got to have independent buttons.
Yeah, fair.
I think my old Logitech keyboard we sometimes use for videos, because it's quieter than my Razer, has those very basic media keys on the top. But yeah, no, my Razer is the same. I don't really use media keys. I never really have. So it's no great loss for me. But if I wanted to, this keyboard could do it. But yeah, it's behind a function key. I
did see when I was just browsing through the various keyboards, I did see one really ridiculously small keyboard where it's just like, this is just compact, it's super compact, where the function keys and the number keys are on the same line. So they compress the function keys onto the number keys.
Compressed. Yeah.
Like, Jesus, that's a bit much.
Ugh. Yeah, well, in the mechanical keyboard worlds, there's like weird standardized names for like the sizes of how compact they are, like 75 or 50 or something. I can't remember what they are, but there's like standards for how they crush the number of keys down to virtually nothing.
Huh.
But I mean, between different manufacturers, then there's a standard way to refer to those layouts. Yeah.
Right. Okay. When you say crush, what you mean? Literally the keycap size, or the
no.
I
mean like
size, or...
the total number of keys, basically.
The total number of keys.
Okay.
But as usual with this kind of thing, it's just like I'm just gonna have to get it and see if it's good or not, and then maybe get rid of it if I don't want it. Same with the mouse or whatever when I did that. Well, I still haven't gone on to my backup mouse yet. I'm still using the one with the
frayed cable.
Frayed cables.
Oh, God.
And I only just noticed, I think I'd seen this a long time ago and forgotten, but like it's frayed at both ends. Like it's frayed on the end with the USB at the back of the PC as well. Well, it's not so much frayed, it's like the coating is, coming off, but like at both ends somehow.
Slightly weird.
And also another random thing, just unrelated, but to the time when I finally got round to updating my BIOS firmware, like I hadn't realised for a long time after that, but like it makes the keyboard less active during the boot up sequence, so it's harder to get into the BIOS. It's really gone back to the old just mash the button for the whole boot up sequence just to make sure it takes.
I mean, I always do that. I've never not done that.
Well, before, on the old BIOS that a motherboard had, it was like the keyboard came on instantly the moment you turned the PC on, and it was just like, you just push it and it'd go. But now it's gone back to the old way, where it's just like, when is this keyboard going to become active? Keep pushing the button.
I've never not done that, because there's no real feedback on when it's taken on most systems.
It's very, very noticeable on that old keyboard specifically because of its orange LEDs that are like generic. It's not like modern LEDs. It's just like it lights up when the USB is active, and therefore you can actually see when that keyboard comes on.
Right. Because I ran into a problem actually with Windows 11 recently. After the last update, my system failed to restart.
Oh, you had that as well?
Yeah. So it restarted, but it went to I've got a Gigabyte Aorus motherboard, so it went to the Aorus logo.
Yeah. and it just sits there.
The spinner was just there and it did nothing.
Yeah, that's what happened to me on my last major Windows update.
Yeah. But fortunately, a hard reset via the power button solved it, and it came back, and it's absolutely fine. But it's like, yeah, what was that? It's weird. Weird that you've said it now, and it's like, okay, this seems like a pretty. This is more common than I thought. I thought it was just a one-off. But yeah, so it did that. But going back to the main subject, it's like, while that's on screen, right, it still shows me the thing like, oh, press delete to go to the BIOS and it's like, no, you're actually past that point.
Yes.
Your Windows is loading at this point.
Because that's just basically a JPEG.
Yeah.
It's not actually a UI.
No. Like, how have we not got past that as a problem in PC design? It's like...
I mean, you would think that it... Well... Yeah, I guess there's no real way around it with the way keyboards turn on. Even though you have like specific USB ports that are like the BIOS USB ports that are meant to be the ones that are specially activated for the BIOS.
Sure,
usually for file transfer after you've got into the BIOS, but
yeah, you normally get into the BIOS. You have your new firmware loaded on the stick, and that's the USB port it's going to look for it on.
But you would think that there should be, that's the one. I sometimes had my keyboard plugged into that port and sometimes I didn't, and it didn't make any difference to how active the keyboard was with relation to getting into the BIOS. So that didn't solve that problem.
Weird.
You'd think there should just be... I mean, it would be a bit much probably, but you should just have like a fucking hard switch button on the case. Instead of like the restart button, just have the BIOS button where it's just like you hold that down and it goes into the BIOS automatically.
Sure. But then cases are moving away from the restart button.
Well, sure, yes.
Like I don't have one on this thing.
I mean, my case has. I keep like finding things out about my PC well after it matters. Where it's like, because I never really looked at the top panel of it, and it's like, oh, it has a restart button, and I have occasionally accidentally hit that instead of the power button, which is awkward.
I mean, I'm pretty glad this doesn't have a reset button because Miles definitely pushed it before I replaced this PC.
But then, like, apparently on the top panel of my PC, it has an LED button. I don't even know what that does. Presumably, it turns the RGBs off.
Right.
Presumably.
Yeah, I had one of those on my last case. Like, there was a button you could push, and then all it actually did was turn the red LEDs that lit up the power button off.
Right.
Like, I assume, but I didn't have any RGB kit in it, so I guess nothing was wired up to it. But like, yeah, I had a whole dedicated button to do it if I wanted my fan speed to glow red on the top of the case. Bit excessive. I left it on because who doesn't like a red eerie glow?
Yeah, when you're not in the room.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the whole problem with my PC to deal with tomorrow,
I hope
hopefully.
you get it fixed. There's not a lot more annoying, personally. Like, I'm sure there must be for people, like, but having your PC not functioning is quite a... I don't know, that gets to me.
I mean, it's annoying for me because it's like, it's not actually dead. It's like, you can turn it on and it will run, it runs fine. And like, I've been using the temperature, the fan control monitoring the temperature to see what the actual temperatures are. And it's like, it's not, super overheating, it's just like warmer than usual.
Right.
And as soon as you start running it, like as soon as you try and open Chrome or whatever, it's like, that spike is a lot higher than it should be.
Yeah.
But it's like, so it's clearly not super running well, and it just makes a lot of noise, but it's still technically running.
I mean, the pump might not be running as fast as it's supposed to if it's making noise like that. So yeah, you're probably not getting ideal conditions.
But I was just like, this is doubly annoying, because if it was like fully dead, there wouldn't be this situation where it's like it can turn on and I can go in there to deal with like emails and ordering parts and stuff.
Well, at least on some level you've got a phone that can now do that.
Sort of.
If you really need it.
Except my Amazon goes to my other email account that's not my Gmail account that's on my phone. And I've never logged into my Hotmail on my phone.
Phones can have multiple email accounts on them now.
And I think that phone actually already has like the Outlook or whatever it's called now app on it.
Yeah, I think Samsung actually ships that by default.
Yeah,
it has. I think it's weird, isn't it? Samsung has like their own mail app, and also I think the Google one might have been pre-installed on mine as well, and Outlook. And it's like, take your pick. You've got 3.
I mean, if I managed to get my phone to connect to my PC using the actual Windows app to do that,
the sync thing,
but it didn't work when I tried it last time.
I've not tried that in a very long time. It worked when I first got an Android phone, and it would do things like if I got a text message, it would pop up on screen, and you could just type your reply into that notification and things like that. Now I'm not quite sure why I would use it like that. Anyway, yeah, hope you get it fixed, man. That's, I don't enjoy that. Same with cars, man. Cars. We just did
in the case of cars, you can't really fix it yourself a lot of the time.
Well, I guess some cars you can, but yeah, not many modern cars, right? It's a lamentable situation where modern cars are too complex for mere mortals to have a go at. For the most part.
I certainly trust Zach in terms of diagnosing the problem, though, even if he can't fix it. It's the belts, probably.
It's the belts.
Yeah, that's the only problem.
Yeah, similar. I mean, it's not quite belt, but it's belt adjacent, I suppose. But Gnome's car had to have
the doubles.
Gnome's car had to have an alternator replaced, which was pricey.
Oh, really?
And but now we've got a suspected oil or fuel leak under the car because it's leaving patches in the driveway and stuff, and it's like, oh, but we just put this in for the service, and now there's another problem immediately, and my car's just been in for service, and it's like, which it admittedly was a service, not a fault. There's nothing wrong with the Jag. It's just a service. There's a problem with Jags, like the dealership, as always. Like I don't know, like Jaguar and I'm going to name drop Marshalls, like they just can't seem to get their shit together. I went in for a service, and then I got a message like halfway through the day, and I'm thinking, oh, that was fast. And it's like,
right.
and they're like, yeah, we could only do half of it because we ordered the parts we were going to replace on your car, but we opened the box and it wasn't the parts we ordered.
Great, good job.
Helpful.
Yeah, in their defense, it's like They said they ordered the correct parts. The box was labeled with the correct parts, but they opened the box and it's like, oh, it looks like ketchup. It says it's ketchup. It smells like ketchup, but man, that ain't ketchup.
That ain't ketchup.
It's yeah. So it's got to go back again at some point, and that's a pain in the ass to do. I love my car, but oh my god, Jaguar dealerships.
I mean, it's not like you were doing that great with the Ford one either.
My Ford was given how long I had that thing, I think that performed incredibly well.
Well, I wasn't really talking about the car. I was talking about the servicing of the car.
That's what I mean. Like the servicing was fine. Like up for that, I had one major failure during its lifetime, apart from the one that I sold it for. It's like two, I guess. But even then, like, I guess because it's like a long time ago now, that major failure cost me about as much as maybe getting my Jag serviced 3 times. Like, it was a big fix, but yeah. But that only happened once in 11 years, and I don't think that's bad going. Particularly, the only other thing I had to get sorted on the Ford were things that were environmental, like, oh, okay, that was a particularly large pothole I drove through and I broke a suspension damper. Ooh, all right. Oh, that was a bird that went through my front grille. Okay.
Yeah.
Things that I could do very little about. That's no fault of the car. That's just environmental. I had to get those sorted as well. I still stand by the Focus as a incredibly reliable car.
Oh, yeah.
It's been way more reliable than this cocking Beamer has been, anyway. I like the 1 Series Beamer, don't get me wrong, but we've had to fix that thing way more often.
The cocking Beamer. That's your BMW.
Oh yeah, that's what it'll be known. That's the nickname of it. Like, we don't really name our cars as some people do that, right? They give their cars names.
Yeah, they
and it's
do.
like, yeah. So maybe this Beamer needs to just be called the cocking Beamer.
Well,
that's what's been happening in life.
civiling around.
Civiling around. One other observation about going back to where we started, I suppose. Seville, right? And maybe this is true of other foreign countries as well. But like, I don't know. Is it a UK thing, right? Where if you see something on a menu in a restaurant, right, and but the description of what you're ordering is really, if it's really short, right? If it says like steak. there's usually an assumption, right, that it's like, oh, this probably comes with some stuff, right? I'm not just ordering steak, like I'm ordering a steak dinner or something like that. There's kind of it's kind of an implied thing that like what you're ordering always comes with enough to make it a meal or satisfying, unless it specifically says that it isn't, right? And you can parse that from the menu. Like, what I found in Spain was like that is never the case. It is like you are only getting what is written down and nothing else.
Right.
So no like after after the marathon in particular, like I wanted something pretty simple. We immediately after the marathon we went for a McDonald's and I had a Muck Extreme, which is something we don't get over here, I guess.
It's called a Muck Extreme.
Muck Extreme.
That's quite an awkward combination of Muck and Muck and any kind of word
with PX sauce, and I'm guessing that like the PX was named after someone I'm guessing is a famous Spanish chef called Pedro Jimenez. And it's his sauce, and it's kind of like a peppercorn sauce if you made it without the peppercorns in it. I don't really know how to describe it better than that. It was that kind of brown and that kind of...
kind of brown. Oh, I know the kind of brown you mean. Yeah. The peppery brown. Right.
But didn't really have that pepper. Anyway, the Muck Extreme was fine. But anyway, later that evening, I was still on like, I'm still feeling kind of weird. I just want simple food. So I had what was described as like chicken and chips, and I'm like, okay, fine, like that'll be that's pretty basic enough. No, that is literally all it was. Like it was like
like dry, like,
yeah, okay. Like not even a sauce, not even anything. That is just some fries and a bit of chicken, and it's like, okay, it was breaded chicken. They did say it was breaded chicken, but it's like. They didn't. This chicken wasn't seasoned in any way. I thought maybe it was going to be slightly. I don't know, but this happened multiple times to me, and I didn't really learn. like fool me once, I guess. Where it's just like I'd order stuff and I think, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to order something alongside this, and I didn't think to order something alongside this, so now this is awkward, right?
It's right, fair.
Anyway, also orange wine is weird. It's a kind of a Seville thing. I didn't really like it.
What? Is it made with oranges?
Yeah. Clues in the name, I guess. I don't really know how it's made, but yeah. So, obviously Seville orange, big thing. But yeah, they make an orange wine and it does taste a bit like oranges, but like it sort of cemented my... I don't really like orange flavour unless it's like orange juice or orange squash. Those are like... Or chocolate orange. Those are like the...
So you like most orange flavours in fact.
But no, but it's like if it's like duck all orange or just a fucking orange, right? I'm not really into it.
How isn't orange that much different from orange juice?
I don't know.
The ridiculous amount of sugar, probably.
Yeah, I guess orange juice is way sharper and much more concentrated normally, and it's like maybe that's how it works. But if it's like an orange or that flavour of like what an orange actually tastes like if you raw dog it, then it's like.
Oh, I hate that term. It's popping up everywhere now.
Yeah, I know, it's not great. I'm a little bit ashamed that I used it.
Everyone knows that's not how you eat an orange anyway. You dip orange bits directly into sugar. That's how you eat an orange.
That might make it better, yeah. And so anyway, this orange wine tasted like oranges, and so it's like, yep, not for me. Can't. I can see why you might like it, but not for me. Anyway, Seville, I'm done. Get that PX sauce.
Adventures. Spanish adventures.
I nearly got stuck in the airport.
Oh, yeah?
Or nearly got forced to pay for more stuff in the airport, I should say. We had a slightly complicated arrangement with our tickets, like to try and get the best deal, where it's like, there's three of us travelling. There's me, Gnome, and Badger, right? And it's... but they had bags on their, like cabin bags on their tickets, but I didn't because we didn't think we were going to need that much. But at one point, Gnome got a bit impatient and was just like, I'm just going to get on the plane. And she took... but the cabin bags were in Gnome and Milesy's name, right? And she only took one of them with her. So there's me going, like, checking in a little bit later than she was with one of the bags, trying to explain to a Spanish person, and it's like, who's like in my face going, you need to pay for that. And I'm like, I've already paid for it, but it's not in my name. It's in my wife or my child's name who have already gone through the gate.
Right.
Yeah. And he wasn't getting it at all. He just kept... I'm like, you need to look them up, and then you can see that they haven't checked in a bag, and then you can look me up, and then it'll all work out. It'll be fine. And he was like, he just kept looking me up on the system. It's like, no, you need to pay for this. It's like, no, you're not getting it. And then some very helpful lady then sort of interrupted us, and we're like, what's going on here? And I'm like, I explained it, and she's like, can you just show me their boarding passes? Yeah, cool, sorted. I get it. I get it. You cocked up, but I get it.
Yeah, you cocked up, but I get it.
And I'm like, yes, we did, and I apologise. She's not wrong. We did cock up, but it was a bit slightly frustrating. So it's like, I'm not paying for my bag twice. Luggage costs are already insane.
Exactly.
Flights in general are insane, and that's the eco part of me is just sort of like, this is probably for the best, right? If you're
right, yeah. That's true.
It probably should be really expensive. Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
but the one time I try and do it in like what must be 10 years since I've had to pay for a flight myself. There hasn't been a work-related trip, I guess. It just it all caught me a bit off guard, just how freaking expensive it all is.
Do you think, it's definitely got more expensive, isn't it? Because it used to be, like, ridiculously cheap to fly to Europe, didn't it, for certain things?
Yeah.
If you flew at, like, ridiculous times in the morning and stuff, but even so, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's good, but also it was good to take advantage of it while it lasted.
Sure, yeah. But the thing is like, people still do, right? There's still a lot of flights, and there's still a lot of people travelling. I don't think it's like travel rates have decreased despite what is frankly absurd price increases. Like, it's do you know what I mean? It's like the market is doing what the market does, right? If people will pay, prices will go up, and as it turns out, people will pay.
Yeah, I mean, you can't miss out on these things, can you? Got to be able to run a half marathon like halfway.
Oh, I could have just done one today. In Great Bentley.
Not quite the same.
Doesn't quite have the same ring to it, though.
No.
I wouldn't have got as nice a T-shirt at the end of it, or any T-shirt, but would have been a lot less hassle.
Right, let's talk about news.
Oh, we haven't had an opportunity for me to say it's a podcast about video games yet, but
because it is.
Podcast about video games.
There you go. Get that catchphrase out of the way.
It's relatively slow news still in the last fortnight. Let's talk. One of the earlier things that happened in the last 2 weeks was Xbox had their developer direct. That I think this is the fourth one they've now done in this style. They call it a developer direct, but it's increasingly becoming a bit frustrating that these things are. They try and pitch them as it's like, oh, here's a deep dive into the game, into some of our games that are coming up straight from the mouths of the developers. Except it's like, it's painfully obvious that these have been not only heavily scripted but have been through Microsoft PR, because they all sound the bloody same.
Right.
Carl Bosman made an interesting observation on this stuff, where he said, like, at the end of every single one of these presentations, and it's not just this year, but for the previous years as well, they all end with, "We can't wait for you to join us in our game once we've released it," or something like that. You know, that phrase comes up every single time. And it's like, yeah, okay, I can see what you've done here. You've come up with a formula and you're just sticking to it, and you're forcing all these people to say it. It's painful, actually. Like, it's becoming quite painful to watch that element of it. Which makes it... Because I'm just going to jump straight to what was their surprise game, in quotes, which makes it a little bit more painful when it's Double Fine doing one of these. Right. So Tim Schafer's up there doing... I think he was given a little more leeway than most to do what he wanted.
Schafer,
yeah, to do what he wanted to do in this thing. But you could still tell the Microsoft hand was on it a little bit. If you've watched the Psychodyssey documentary, which I highly recommend you do because it's brilliant.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that. Is that a one of those...
Yeah, do you remember Double Fine?
Clip?
No, it's not by NoClip, but it's similar, right? So do you remember, like, back in the day for Broken Age, I think it was,
yes.
they did the Double Fine Adventure documentary.
Yep.
I think it's the same team that did that went on and covered them making Psychonauts 2. And covered the whole everything the company was up to really during the duration of Psychonauts 2. So things like Headlander are covered and Psychonauts VR and things like that. Anyway, it's called Psychodyssey and it's great. Really go and have a watch. But one of the things Double Fine do on a regular basis is this thing they called Amnesia Fortnight, where they forget. The whole idea is they have amnesia about any other work they are doing. They down tools and just go, we are having a game jam. An internal game jam. They split into like 4 or 5 teams inside the company and just like come up with something. You've got 2 weeks, go.
Cool.
What a fantastic idea. If you've got the ability to do it. And if you've watched the documentary, Kiln might be somewhat familiar because it turned up in that years ago.
Oh, wow.
So they're
bringing back the idea.
Yeah, they've actually brought some of the ideas from that Amnesia Fortnight they showed actually ended up in Psychonauts 2 in various forms.
Right, of course.
One of these ideas is getting a full game release sometime in spring this year. And it does look a lot of fun. It's... pottery. I forget how they described it. I didn't write it down, but it's like a pottery-based party brawler.
Nice.
So you actually they've put as much time, it seems, into their creation tools as they have into the game itself, because you spend time at a potter's wheel, like crafting the pot into the shape you want, and then a spirit inhabits it, and then you go and have I would say it's not quite a MOBA, but it's a bit like a MOBA, but as far as I can tell, without the creep kind of thing. The idea is it's a 4-on-4 multiplayer experience where you have to somehow get water to your opponent's kiln. But you're pots, right? You've made pots.
Right.
So they carry the water. And but the shape of the pot you make then matters, right? Because it then depends how much water you can carry and how you carry it. And there's a system in the game where, depending on the shape of pot you make, that determines effectively your character class, right? So there's depending on how big you want to be, you could be a big chunky boy, and that you'd be a big version of that pot. But shape also determines that, and things like that. It's a pretty cool looking system.
Interesting.
At least from the creativity side. It's like, I found when they actually showed bits of gameplay footage of the actual fights, it looked a little hard to follow, but I guess it's one of those things that you'd get your eye in eventually to see what's going on. But yeah, these pots are wandering around the battlefield, punching the crap out of each other, and obviously shattering in a satisfying way when they die.
Yeah.
It's about
working near Link, he'll smash all the pots.
Exactly, yeah. But it looked fun. It looked cool.
Cool.
Because it's 4-on-4 and multiplayer, I don't know if I'll ever have the opportunity to sort of get together the right scenario to play that, which is probably a LAN party, right? Or but I just don't have 8 people I'd want to play with these days, I guess. Yeah. Not at the same time, but it looks cool. It looks like a lot of fun. Nice to see stuff come out of the Amnesia Fortnights, especially. So there's that. We got a pretty big look, or our first proper look, I suppose, at Forza Horizon 6.
Oh.
So there's some interesting points here and some not so interesting points, and some bits that I think quite specifically didn't show. So, it's in Japan. Yeah, there seems to be a mix of... there's still some of the open world, like driving through the fields and stuff, but what they didn't show in that stuff was how the collision model works, whether it's still the same as the previous Forza Horizons, where it's like that black or white, you're going to destroy this or you're going to hit it like a ton of bricks. You know,
right.
I haven't got my feel for that, because that's like my biggest problem with Horizon in its handling. It's like that. I don't really like that black and white nature of the collisions anymore. It was fun at first, but now I want a little bit more nuance to it. I don't want to just be able to blow through every hedge I find. It's like,
no, exactly, and even the like driving the supercars over the fields is already weird. Like,
yeah, it's not the supercars don't struggle enough.
No,
they struggle more for sure, but they don't struggle enough.
Although I did see that they have, I'm sure this is in the current game, but that weird Lamborghini, off-road Lamborghini. Have you seen that?
Yeah. You mean what's it called? The Urus, I think.
Whatever. No. It's literally it's like a supercar Lamborghini, but like with off-road tires or something.
Oh.
It's really weird.
What's the flat wedge of like a Hurricane?
Yeah, exactly. It's a Hurricane, I think, or something like that. But it's really weird. It was on Doug DeMuro at one point, but it's like an insane thing, basically.
Okay, yeah, because Lambo make SUVs, and I tend to actually drive the Urus, right? And I tend to actually drive that quite a bit in these games. But no, this is like a ludicrous normal supercar, but weird.
Like, okay, it's really weird. It's really strange. But anyway, that's beside the point.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have to look that up. That sounds insane. Yeah, so I didn't really get a feel for how that looked, because they didn't really show that particularly. They actually steered away, I think, for the most part, of showing like that style of like just running across fields. They do exist, because obviously there's bits where they're showing like the rural sides of Japan as much as they are showing their version of Tokyo. So it will be there. It's just like how will it play? I imagine no different at all, which would be a shame. On the positives, though, Tokyo is the largest urban area they've built for one of these games.
Yeah, but they've been tiddly before, right?
Yeah, they're usually very tiny, and it's like that's a really good thing. It has to be big, and I'm actually that's the bit I'm most excited about. I think.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some MSR style action.
100%.
Yes,
some PGR. Like let's.
Exactly.
Go.
I saw some clips with some like obviously right angle corners, and it's like wow,
damn
in a
straight.
come on,
or not damn
let's
straight,
go.
as the case may be.
Yeah,
that's the bit that I'm most excited about. There were some other weird elements they touched on, like, hey, we've now got cosmetic tire wear, and I'm like, oh, you mean something that will be completely impossible to see except in photo mode after a race, I guess. And you can now put stickers on your windows. Ooh. I'm amazed that's not been a thing before. That's kind of weird. There's a new... they pointed out that there's a new HUD element, which I think sounds cool. That's like... Do you remember from, like, Daytona? Right, like when you're driving around, and on the right hand side of the screen, there's a big old radar, like showing you where other cars are relative to you.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
So that's now
quite good in the arcade, right?
Yeah. So that's now coming to this game, so you can get better spatial awareness of where other cars are around you, which I think is probably a good thing, especially if you're a cockpit driver, right? Because you don't really have the capability of turning your head
definitely.
or looking in your mirrors with quite the same fidelity that you would in real life. So having a radar view kind of makes up for that. And it's like, yeah, all right, sensible. I can get behind that. We touched on PGR a second ago, but in PGR 3, like one of the things I remember was that they had these garages you could customize, right? And walk around and put your cars in. And I remember at the time in PGR 3 on Xbox 360, them looking pretty sweet. They're bringing those to the game, so you can make your own garages. So, like, I guess that makes the buying of property a bit more meaningful, because before, having the properties just really meant you got some buff for owning that property, I think, in the game, if I remember rightly. Or you could set them as your home, which would be like where you'd reload into the game if you started it from scratch. That was all they really did, but having them actually have a garage kind of makes sense, I guess, from an aesthetic point of view.
Yeah. Or a carport.
Yeah, a car hold.
Oh, yeah.
La-dee-da.
I know. I'm thinking about Daytona USA because I've been deploying some servers and it keeps saying deploying with rolling strategy, and I'm like rolling start. And I booted it up, started playing that track.
Awesome. Yeah, so there's a bit of that. That's cool. They talked about the estate, which I don't think showed very well in this, which was like, hey, there's a big flat area with nothing in it, which doesn't sound very Japan-like, let's be honest. But it's like, hey, you can own that and then build what you want there, and we'll call it the estate. And then the example they showed looked very much like, oh, hey, we just built something that looked a lot like a corporate campus here, and it's like, I don't really like that. No, I think like. Yeah, it didn't seem very characterful in any way, and it's like I guess the idea is to let you be able to build some kind of like playground for your cars that you can then invite people to. Well, yeah, but I guess having some creativity within it makes sense, which then leads to the next thing they talked about, which is Horizon Collab, they've called it, which is in the previous games they had this thing called labs where you could at certain start points on the map you could put down like obstacles and things and try and make up your own custom challenges within the world. But I never felt that was very full featured, and it never really, I don't know if it ever properly came up nicely in the UI as like a suggestion for something to do. Like, oh, here's a cool event someone's made, why don't you go try it? Like, I don't know. It's never really felt like a thing, but hey, now they've expanded it so you can do that anywhere on the map. You don't have to use their own start positions, and you can do it in co-op. So you can have multiple people make a challenge. So that's nice. Yeah, it's hopefully if that's a little bit more of a thing in the game, that could make it interesting in some ways. Like having user created content a little more upfront might not be a bad idea.
No.
What was the other thing I was going to mention? Similar to that. Oh, yeah, they talked about a new game mode, which sounds like just straight up obstacle courses. Like they've kind of touched on this before, I think, with like some of the Horizon story mission things, where like they had some like courses set out for you pretending to be a stunt driver for films, I think. But there wasn't many of them, right? There was like 10 of these missions. Or something. So if that's been elevated to a full-on event, that's kind of cool, because that would make that more interesting and more frequent.
Yeah.
One would be the hope. So that could be fun.
Nice.
But here's the bit where obviously the thing we've been ragging on Horizon for years, that they kind of touch on, but not enough in a way that I think would get you or me excited. They specifically say that in this version of Forza Horizon, you're not the superstar. Okay. So they're dropping that whole angle. You're an unknown racer starting from scratch, having to work your way up the ranks.
But wasn't that what they were anyway?
That's kind of what happened. It was kind of what you had to do as the superstar anyway, right? Yeah, even in the last one, you were like, well, you still got to do it fairly. You've still got to work your way through. But they're making a big deal that that's how the progression will feel this time. Maybe there is a progression rather than just go, hey, do what you want kind of atmosphere that Horizon has.
They won't go far enough on that, because it won't be like, we start with driving a Mini or something. drive shit cars for a while. Well, you drive relatively shit cars for a while, but not shit cars.
They usually open the game with you getting to drive like a big the poster car, right, for the game, the cover car. And then when you get there, they do make you pick like a relatively crap starting car, and you do have to.
But not crap enough. It's not like
you get to good cars pretty quick.
Not like playing old Forza where you're leveling up a Focus or whatever.
I hope. I'm with you, Zach. Like, I wish there is more of a tangible progression to the game. Like, hey, now you're working up to the Class S and Class R cars. Like, let's, and those are kind of like an end game goal in a way. Because I think that's what, in some ways, that's what Horizon has always been lacking. It's like this feeling of like, well, what's my goal other than just checking everything off the map? Like, I need a little bit more than an Ubisoft map bath. So I hope maybe they're addressing that, maybe. But they didn't show any voiceover content of any kind in this thing. So the question is still unanswered whether that hugely annoying style of content from Horizon is present. My money is, yes, it still bloody is. But maybe there's hope. Maybe there's hope. But no, I bet they haven't changed that. And I bet it's still as annoying as ever. I just can't remember if they showed any of that stuff before when they talked about the previous Horizons. I'm not sure they did leading up to its launch.
No, that's the trouble, isn't it? They don't show it when they're...
Yeah. I'm not sure they do show you over-enthusiastic Mexicans blending English and Spanish together in that awkward way that they do for games and movie footage, movie dialogue. Yeah. Anyway, I think there's something to get to latch onto here. It does look cool. Japan is obviously the best setting they could pick. Personally, Toge is there, so obviously, yeah. I mean, maybe they were like leaving it until they thought like, okay, the tech's in the place where we can do it the justice we really want to.
Yeah, maybe. Well, that's good then, isn't it?
But it's going to be Microsofted to hell is all I can think these days, and it's just like it's going to be the safest of safe releases, and thus nothing I want changed will be changed. So,
yeah,
that's
just the world that we live in, I guess.
I know it's not like I have a huge it's not a deal breaking problem with the Horizon games. I do still enjoy them, but it's they're just obvious problems to me, and ones that haven't been addressed for 4 entries. And I hope the handling just feels a little bit more natural on controller as well.
Well, that's...
I don't know.
It's
there's
crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, there's something about, with certain cars, something about the damping they do that I just don't want it to do. Like, I mean, I know you've got to do it on games to make them feel natural on controllers in some way, but I just think Horizon might have got it wrong the last couple of entries. Like, it's too much. It's too much hand-holding to the point where it doesn't feel realistic enough, and sometimes inconsistent, which is bad.
Trouble. They try to make these games all things to all people. They try to make it accessible and like realistic.
Yeah, but I don't think you can
do both.
But I don't think you can. The settings don't, I think, let you dial it in a way where it makes me happy. Like I can't dial it sim enough. I don't want it to be 100% sim. I don't want that because it's not going to feel good on a controller.
No,
but I don't. But I can't get it far enough down that way where it's not hand holding me through like low grip turns in particular, where it goes, oh, I don't think you're going to make that, so I'm not going to turn the wheel that much for you, and all you're going to do is horribly understeer into this turn. And it's like, no, I wanted to yank it then and properly throw the back end of my car out and go into a wild drift, but you told me no on this corner particularly for no reason, and you do it on this corner repeatedly. Like, that's what really bothered me about like the previous Horizon games. There were just spots on certain tracks where it felt like the game was going and you're like, no, I want to do that.
Too hand-holdy.
Yeah, and just weird. It just felt odd. Just felt odd at times. But on the road, I didn't really have too much of a problem, but it's just sort of these low grip scenarios where it feels like it's being a bit too, I'm going to help you there. It's like, I don't want you to. Even if you turned all the bloody assists off, it would still do it. And it's like, anyway, Horizon 6. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm still looking forward to it because I haven't played the recent one, or haven't played any of them.
Right, yes, right. So yeah, and it will come to PlayStation later this year.
Eventually, yeah.
They're saying Xbox and PC release will be May 19th. But yeah, it will come to PlayStation before the year is out. Right, what else did we talk about? Game Freak were there. Can you believe? They had because yeah, I know, not
making a sequel to Town. No, they're not.
Get hyped for Town.
Tambo, the Badass Elephant 2. No, they're like, this is a weird one because it's not Beast of Reincarnation, which is the game they've been working on. We've seen it before. They this isn't an Xbox exclusive or Microsoft tied exclusive in any way. Like, it's going to release on everything. So it's really interesting that they're here at all. Like, why are they here? And like the coalition
Microsoft has a whole bunch of developers that they should be showing stuff on.
Yeah, like, why are they here and the coalition and Gears of War E-Day are not? Like, that's weird.
Well,
like,
how much is there to say about Gears of War at this point? Maybe.
I mean, maybe, yeah. But I think this is just like they have one slot in this developer direct that's like international pandering, is all I can think of. Because last year's had Expedition 33, which was cool. And it was there because it was going to be like a day one Game Pass launch, right? And that's the thing with this show. Everything they talk about is day one Game Pass and Xbox Play Everywhere and all that kind of stuff.
Right, that's...
Yeah, but it feels like one slot is always like dedicated to, oh, we got to do something international. And it feels like this is the slot. Anyway, I'm saying all of that, but I don't mean to throw any shade on Game Freak at all, because this game actually looks rad. It's another, like, I guess, Japanese culture-inspired action game, but they're going for a future apocalypse where the world has been taken over by mad plants, is the best way to describe it. And some of those plants have fused with animals to, I forget what they called them, but those are the boss things, and they're creating these gnarly forests that are, need to be solved. But your character and one other character, I think, in the game are known to have weird abilities associated with these plants. So it makes people fear you, so you're an outcast, and all very cookie cutter. But the game does look good. Like, there's an element of, I think we may have seen this a billion times over the last few years, but it's that halfway house between a character action game and a Dark Souls looking thing, like a fast Dark Souls, I guess. And I think it looks good. The story sounds pretty, the presentation looks good, and all of the things that you would not associate with Game Freak in any bloody way.
Right, indeed.
It just puts Pokemon like on a weird pedestal even more. Like, they can clearly make something that is technically proficient.
Well, maybe.
Maybe it runs like shit still. I don't know, but it's modern. It's modern. Let's put it that way. And yet Pokemon still looks like and runs like garbage. I guess that's what a budget can do. Maybe they've got more budget for this, and Nintendo just don't give them the budget for Pokemon. I don't know. I just don't understand.
But why wouldn't they give that? It's like the biggest media franchise in history.
Why wouldn't you? But maybe that's why it's the biggest. Like, maybe it's the biggest. Why it's the biggest money spinner? They just know they don't have to, right? They're just like, we don't have to spend the money on this. It's still going to sell, right? Like, profit. They just someone's done the math, and it's just like,
Surely they could make more money by making that a game. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah. Maybe they just made something that would appeal to non-Pokemonists.
Yeah. Pokemonists. You see, they finally opened a theme park, sort of, in Japan.
Oh no, I didn't.
A Pokemon one. Yeah.
After 30 years, they finally decided to...
Yes, after 30 years. And it seems like quite a gentle sort of wander around a forest and check out some Pokemon Snap style thing.
I want to see, one where they... maybe, Zach, you'll correct me. Like, in Pokemon Legends Arceus, right, because it was set, in the past, did the Pokedex still exist?
Well, I mean, not as a physical handheld computer, obviously.
Because I want it to be a notebook so we could call it the Pokenomicon. I don't know, that just sounds cool in my head. Pokenomicon. Beast of Reincarnation. This game looks cool. Coming out summer this year. On all platforms, so you don't have to be a Microsoft head. Just bear that in mind.
But you might as well be, because then you'll get it for free, essentially.
If you're in the Game Pass life cycle, yeah. Which, frankly, I can no longer recommend, let's be honest. Because it's too expensive. What else is going on? The last thing they showed off was Fable. We finally got a proper look at this. Playground Games had 2 games in this thing of 4 games. Weird, right? There's a lot of chickens in this game. that seemed to be their comedy crux. Is we like chickens. I've not played any of the other Fable games, so I don't know how much that holds with the series.
I guess it holds with Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah,
sure.
Clearly.
Oh, I've got a fun fact. I've got a fun fact for you about Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah.
The guy that plays the voiceover mentor. Oh, this comes out of Outside Xbox, by the way. So thanks to them for telling me about this. The guy that plays the voiceover the mentor, I think they call him in the game. Like, your dungeon is on a slant. Your minions cannot play marbles.
Cannot play marbles.
That guy. That is the same voice actor that now plays Daddy Pig in Peppa Pig.
Oh, wow.
I just thought that was hilarious.
Dirty Pig, wow. I learned that "You Know Where You've Been Tangled" is Gil Scott Heron.
Who is that?
He's like a famous jazz musician.
Oh, really?
Anyway, yeah. Well, anyway, I was like, oh, it was him.
Well, that kind of makes sense because I guess jazzists tend people with deep voices. I can see like moving to jazz, right?
Or singer type, jazz poets, I guess. Yeah.
Anyway, Fable. It looks pretty. I don't really know how to talk about this game, and I don't think they did either. Actually, because they were talking about a lot of the systems in it. The biggest thing about this game seems to be its reputation system, right? So when you do something in the game, you get a plus or minus towards a type of reputation against your character, and certain NPCs, which I think they said there were over 1,000 of, each with their own personalities that they prefer, their own routines and stuff like that, that they will all react to your particular leanings in certain ways. And they demonstrated this by having the character immediately kick a chicken, and it gained, you gained the chicken chaser reputation.
Immediately, okay.
So if you buy up all the properties, for instance, you become you gain the landlord reputation, or if you've got lots of money, you gain the rich reputation and stuff like that. So people might not like you because you're rich, or if you're mean to your tenants, for instance, that also has ramifications on how people react to you. Or if you've done heroic deeds, I suppose that's good compared to looking out for yourself. So all of that could be pretty interesting, depending on how that actually plays out. I guess what is the in a sort of that telltale story discussion, what is the story spread here? Does it go outwards in a pretty wide net depending on what you end up doing, or is it like a classic diamond shape where it goes wide but actually funnels you back to a single, is there I guess what I want to know is there a single core story that you're supposed to be following in this, or is it actually quite broad? And that wasn't particularly clear from this. If there's so much possibility, then I'd kind of want there to be so many routes that things can go, which is always one of the hardest things I think for games to attempt. But none of this really explained whether that was actually true or not, or whether it was just environmental, not actual major beats, I suppose. There was one thing they picked out, and so we saw in previous trailers that Richard Ayoade is a giant, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely still in the game. That wasn't just a bullshot trailer. That's still there.
Okay.
But they pointed out that if you have a choice it's a pretty early quest apparently, and you have a choice of whether to spare or kill that guy. And if you kill him, his corpse is just there on the in the world for the rest of the game.
Oh, weird.
So this giant ass corpse is just there. And that will affect house prices was what they said, and presumably your reputation, and presumably what those people around the corpse think of you or the world and stuff like that. So, there are potentially larger things that could happen. I don't know if this is avowed the city being destroyed or not kind of thing, on how much that actually affects the story, but none of this we really know, and all of that is the interesting stuff. So. It was a bit of a weird demonstration, I think. The game doesn't look bad, but I don't think it really answers like the questions of what you might want from a Fable game. Like, what do you want from a Fable game, and what do they think we want from a Fable game? I don't know is really answered. It's pretty, at least.
I guess they just have to
British.
do their own thing, right? Don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it has to. I don't think there's any pressure at all, I think, to like really hold on to what those first 3 Fable games are. Because I don't, as I say, I'm not really close to those at all, but my understanding is that they were kind of perceived as a sort of mixed bag. Right? Like, good ideas in some aspects, but not necessarily holding together particularly well as a game on the whole. With maybe Fable 2 being the most successful of the 3.
Yeah, who played... Zach, you played Fable 2, didn't you?
No, I don't play any of them.
Oh, you're right. Oh.
Yeah, I think it's
That
a
was
bit
the
of
one with the dog, wasn't it?
I have no idea. There's one with a dog. There's one with John Cleese. There's... My knowledge of Fable is pretty low.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something that I certainly have nostalgia for. I always had that Molyneux feeling, but not in a like good black and white way. I don't know.
Right.
The vibes were like weird and different. Like the Molyneux humor stuff was good in like Theme Park and also in black and white. So I don't know what it just felt.
Right, this was a Molyneux gig as well, though, right?
Kind of felt twee. Fable, I always thought.
Yeah, and this is that was a Molyneux gig, right? This was a Lionhead thing.
Yeah, it's a Molyneux gig.
Right. Yeah, I see your point.
Well, it's opinion, but
yeah, well, yeah,
that's
yeah.
how I felt about it.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever got that same feeling that the humor or whatever or the feel is like the black, as you said, like the black and white games. From what little I know of it, I don't know if that's feels quite the same, other than it being twee and British, right? Like, yeah, interesting. Anyway, that was what Xbox had to say. Hopefully they've got a lot more to say. That's all I'm gonna. I think that's the kindest thing we can say about Microsoft right now. Hopefully they've got more to say, but these games do at least look good to some extent. What else is happening in the world? Ubisoft have tanked their own shares by having a major restructuring.
God.
It's a bit complicated. I'm not going to try and explain it in full, but the company has effectively been like halved is the best way that I understand it, with one half keeping some of the big name franchises like Assassin's Creed, and that half mostly belonging to the Guillemets, so they still have control of something. With the other half being mostly Tencent owned, so they have control of that stuff. So don't really know what that means for the future, other than we know that they've cancelled a bunch of projects. I don't think we know the full extent of what those projects are, apart from Sands of Time remake, the Prince of Persia remake. That has 100% been cancelled now. And there's been some like reports coming out that game was very nearly finished, like very close to the finish, actually just straight up coming out, but that the internal sentiment around it wasn't all that strong. So like even the people making it were like a little bit, I'm not sure we've made a good one here. To which, like, as we were talking about before the show, kind of begs the question, why didn't they just do a Tomb Raider on this, like what Tomb Raider has been doing recently, and just like taking the original game and putting a coat of paint on it, or Master Chief Collection for that matter, like just take that original game, which is pretty well revered. Maybe it's aged poorly, I'm not sure, but it's pretty well revered at least, and just let us experience it again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did they need to go all this way with it? Did they need a full remake? I mean, a full remake sounds cool. It always did sound cool, but it's like...
I think I'd rather play this than Fable.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Or even Fable 2, yeah.
I wonder if this will ever leak, like the 99% finished build. I wonder if it'll
Is that what happened?
I don't know. I'm just wondering, like, if it's that far along in development, it's like I wonder if we'll ever see
the Sands of Time.
Yeah, someone will get it or leak it or.
Yeah, if it's that far along, like, because isn't that film that like a Wile E. Coyote film or whatever that got shelved for like tax reasons or whatever?
Right, yeah, that was
isn't
finished.
That, like,
yeah.
I know, but I keep hearing rumors that they'll find a way to bring it back or something. So who knows?
Yeah, there was
Sands of Time.
There was an effort, I think, at one point of a separate publisher trying to with the film anyway of a separate like publishing group trying to put it out, even though it would clearly be like a Warner Brothers property, but like just not Warner Brothers published. That someone else was going to do that. I'm not sure anything has come of that of yet, but I remember reading something like that. Yeah, I wonder if someone could do the same thing here. It's kind of similar. I don't know. It's probably not exactly the same thing as like when .emu picked up like Streets of Rage, right? And they made Streets of Rage 4, but like you'll be hard pressed to find a Sega reference, right? Sega actually themselves kind of had nothing to do with it. Other than giving them their blessing, I guess. There has to be some legal involved, but.
Yeah, but it's like it's just the legal department, basically.
Yeah, just saying yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or doing a deal for which to say yes, but yeah. Otherwise, they got nothing else, no involvement. Yeah, so that's a bit of a bummer. I would have liked to have seen what that is, regardless. And the only other bit of news I've got is like Mario Kart 1.5.0 happened. Mario Kart World 1.5.0, and that seems to have added a new mode. Everyone get excited. Oh no, wait, don't get too excited because it's Team Knockout Tour. That doesn't really change anything it doesn't really change anything. It just adds team-based scoring to the game mode, which when I first heard about this, I got a little bit excited and thought it was something completely different. I thought it's like, oh, maybe it's not like people actually don't just get knocked out now and everyone just drives to the end and it's just like a really big team race. And you get points for each checkpoint or something as a team. And it's like, there was a bit of me that said like, okay, that actually sounds pretty interesting. Like, because it takes away the annoyance to some degree of being knocked out early. And then makes the whole race meaningful. But then also, like, yeah, can you feel like there's hope throughout the entire time to be like, okay, I'm not so far behind, or our team's not so far behind that we can't pull this back. And being able to do the last few bits, perhaps, of the race in general with all 24 players still there. Like, that could have been cool. That could have been a little bit of an interesting twist. Turns out, no, none of that's true. I totally misread what that was. And, yeah, it's just a boring scoring change. Which, a little bit disappointing for a full point release, I suppose. Where's our Donkey Kong content, yo?
Right.
Still hasn't happened.
They did that whole... Well, I guess they were always planning DLC for Bonanza with the island and everything.
Right, yeah.
They clearly need to add some stuff to Mario Kart.
Yeah, it just seems like Mario Kart World is moving at an absolute snail's pace in terms of like post-release development, or post-release
it had
support.
So much content like to start off with.
Yeah, and even then, but it's like it doesn't feel like they've done enough with it, right? That was the biggest complaint with Mario Kart World, right? It's like they've built this massive world and not enough to do with it. Like I would have just Zach and I have theorized about this several times. It's like, how hard is it to just make more Knockout Tour routes?
Right, exactly.
Like that would make Knockout Tour so much more interesting if there was more routes for it to pick. Yes, I'm pretty glad they did the last patch, right, where they fixed a lot of the water-based, or I say fixed, they improved a lot of the water-based intermission stages. That was a good update. But yeah, how hard can it be? What are we missing? Where's our music player, damn it? Something simple like that. I'd take that.
Oh, isn't that in the Nintendo app or some bullshit?
Oh, probably. Yeah, they probably won't put it in the game because they'll want to put it on the Nintendo Music app at some decade in the future.
Yeah, I don't know if they
Yes.
have. That's the trouble. If they'd put all that music on the app immediately, then it probably would have been good.
Yeah, it might not have hurt so much. That's all I got for news.
All right. Time for what you've been playing.
I think that exhale kind of covers it.
We got in the news. Woo! What have you been playing, Rob?
Alrighty, hello everyone. My name is Rob, and I'm a Yakuza addict. And I've been I'm still playing Fist of the North Star. So I'm
Fist of Fun.
Yeah, Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. To give it its full, excessively syllabled title. That game's still good. That game's still fun. I'm in what it calls Final Chapter now, which came as a bit of a surprise to me because I think I talked about it last time, where it felt like the chapters or the actual like story content in this game seemed to be like running through it much faster than I would on a normal Yakuza game. And I think that's still true. And now that it's suggested this is Final Chapter, unless it's a complete fake out and it's not Final Chapter.
Which they have done before in some ways.
Yeah, not really. When it's Final Chapter, it normally means it's like there's some big event and then, yeah, there might be a little extra bit at the end, but like a little extra, but not a lot. It's not like a Red Dead Redemption 2 epilogue, right? They haven't gone that far. But it's it's come up a little quicker than I thought because there's just not as much. If this is the end, like there just isn't as much story as a normal Yakuza game has. There hasn't been like the twists and turns and intrigue and melodrama that you kind of expect from that series. It's been a lot simpler. Like any story beats. A lot of the story beats actually feel like they've just been shoehorned in to be like, oh, here comes another attack. Let's throw some characters that from the manga that we haven't seen yet into this potentially. Like the story doesn't make a whole great deal of sense in the large scale. Like the core kind of does, but not in a compelling way. So if you come to this game wanting the scope of a Yakuza story, like you're not going to get it here, and that's a bummer because that is a big draw of Yakuza for me. It's like the stories are nuts and fun and interesting, and that's just the core part of it. I think the same can be said somewhat of the sub stories. They're generally not as interesting as the Yakuza stuff has been, and a lot of the time similar to how I felt about Yakuza 6's sub stories, it feels like a lot of the wackiness is missing from them that you would normally expect from a Yakuza game. It's not every sub story is wacky, and I don't think every sub story should be wacky in a Yakuza game, but there was the odd few that you'd come across and be like, okay, this is really out there. And memorable, and that side just is missing from this. I think, like, maybe it's the setting, maybe it's just the thing where almost everything boils down to, my family got killed at some point and now I want revenge, or my family got killed and now I'm all alone. Help! It's that's the only theme this game has. I think, like, which is kind of a bummer. That said, I'm still playing it, and I'm still pretty addicted to it, and I'm still generally having a good time. It's just not. It just doesn't hit the heights. It doesn't hit the same heights.
Well, it can't all be the billion Yakuza games.
No, I guess not. I saw some suggestions online that this was like a secondary team within RGG that were working on this, and it's like, oh, well, presumably they must have loads of teams in RGG to be able to keep spitting out the Yakuza games as fast as they could. But I could believe that they perhaps have two working in tandem, right? One working on the main lines and one doing the spin-offs at this point in time. Yeah, and that this was this was one of the B teams on this one. But I think they did a pretty good job of, like, as I say, capturing a slightly different feel to a different tone. Obviously, the art style is different because they've pulled in some cell shading and stuff like that to make it look a bit more manga-y, a bit more stuff. So they are stretching, I guess, what they would normally do within the Yakuza games, whilst also borrowing an awful lot of the structure and an awful lot of the systems.
Yes. Standing on the shoulders of their own shoulders, to some extent.
I'm just not 100% sure that the systems like gel together in the same way. Even down at a systemic level, I don't think they gel together quite as well as they did within the Yakuza games. I think when I've talked about Yakuza in the past, I've always said, well, I've got to interact with this thing because that then gives me points towards this particular element of the game. But then I need that element of the game because that makes me stronger in the core combat. Or like there's a sort of fabric to the Yakuza games that is its own form of genius. Like it's strange. It's like in a good way that it makes you it encourages you to just interact with almost everything the game has to offer. And the Yakuza games obviously have a lot to offer.
Plenty.
Yeah. And it's how they pull that off is really satisfying. And I don't think that gel is here as well. Like there are some systems that just don't feel like they quite worked as planned. Like, so for instance, the Wasteland is an interesting addition to this game because it's like, hey, there's a big desert you can drive around in. Nothing there, but you can drive around in it if you want. Like that's problematic. Like you can drive around, you can find the racetracks, and then when you find the racetracks, you can drive your car around the racetracks and perhaps earn some stuff. And if you beat people up in the city, they try and tie it together a little bit. So if you beat people up in the city, they might give you a treasure map, which then gives you a reason to go to the wasteland and find this chest, which then gives you a part for your buggy most of the time, which you then have to have the parts, the other materials you find in the wasteland to then repair. And if you can repair it, you can then attach it to your buggy and it might give you a stat boost in the way that you want, blah, 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 blah. So they're trying to do that sort of, as I say, the fabric idea by tying these things together. The problem is like those treasure chests come up quite a lot, quite early. As soon as you get, and some of them you just can't get to. So it'll give you a treasure map and you're like, oh, okay, this one's quite a way down the map. Maybe I can try and get there. And it's like, oh, then you just encounter something. It's like, oh, I can't actually get there yet. Well, bugger to that. And the treasure maps are all timed. So if you don't do it immediately, they'll disappear. And you'll have to beat up some more guys and find some more maps or something like that. But I got to the point where I was earning some pretty high stat parts for my buggy through doing this, that I then couldn't actually build and put on my buggy because my mechanic wasn't strong enough yet. And that then ties into needing to find the specific sub-story for that thing that then let me like improve my mechanic so they could then repair those parts and I could then do the stats. So that felt kind of weird because it's like I'm getting all these parts that I can do nothing with, and then pretty late on I stumble upon the sub-story that lets me do that, and I'm like, okay, weird. Maybe I was just unlucky. Maybe I just didn't find that sub-story at the right time and it didn't all paste together. But there's no indication that I should have gone to that place in order to discover that sub-story, do you know what I mean? It just didn't really... It's easily missable, and thus the system didn't really flow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like you can't... One of the things that changes between a lot of the Yakuza games is the ability to see where sub-stories are on their map. Like, I think it was like the Kiwami games, you can pull up the map and if there's a sub-story available, like even if it's something you haven't discovered yet, you'd get an indication on the map to say, hey, there's a story here. And so you could go to that part of the map and then you'd perhaps look around a bit and then you'd find the start of that story. So it would kind of guide you to where things were now available for you to do. But that doesn't exist in this game unless you engage with the hostess minigame and get pretty much all the way through that. And then
I presume you have done.
Which I have done, yeah.
Yes.
And then
are any of these sub-stories sob stories?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah. But that gives you an item, which you then have to equip in place of a bit of your armour, which then lets you see where available sub-stories are on the map. And it was so it was only through that I could then like pick out and be like, hang on a minute, there's this weird outpost on the wasteland actually has something to do in it. So I drive over there and it's like, oh, okay, that's got the mechanic quest on it, which turned out to be a super annoying fetch quest. Like, it was just like, oh, I want this whiskey and I want this thing, which meant I had to go back to town, buy that stuff, then come back out again. Just to unlock that. It wasn't a fun quest, but like it was something I had to do it. But it was just like, why would I come out here unless there was some reason to come out here? Because there's very little to do in the wasteland. Like, it just doesn't. They haven't really gelled it together, and that's my point, I think, about this game. It's just like it doesn't feel quite gelled together. But the core combat is still fun. The driving is pretty terrible, actually. Let's not talk about that. But yeah, the core combat is still fun. The style is still cool. The punching people in time to music rhythm game that you get in the doctor's clinic is weird and fun. That I talked about last time. It's a strange game. It's definitely got RGG's charm, but it's not. Stick to the. Yeah, I think if you wanted to miss that, this is one. It's fine. It's fine. Stick to the Yakuza games. It's okay. If you're a mentalist like me, then and you couldn't avoid it, then you'd still have a good time with it. But it's it's not up there.
But you're gonna push through.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna finish it. Obviously, yeah. Seems like it might be a hard one to plat. Well, all of the Yakuza games are a hard one to get all the achievements for. But
for some of these games, like there's one or two things where it's like impossible, right? It's
yeah.
like, oh.
There's a few in this where I'm looking at the achievement list or the trophy list, and I'm like, I'm never going to do that. There's no way in hell. Like, one of the ones I don't really understand what will happen with it is like the reason you end up working in the hostess club is because you smash a Ming vase or something, and its owner is like, oh, this is worth like 100 million credits or something, and you're like, well, I don't have that money. How are you going to do it? Well, I'm going to get a job as a hostess club manager, and some of the profits you make from that like go straight into your debt towards this Ming vase or whatever, and it's like. My debt is still like I said. It was like started at 100 million. My debt is still like 98 million, and it's like
oh my god, you made the tiniest dent.
Yeah, and it's like okay, I've got the option to manually pay into that, but I don't have anywhere near that amount of money. It's like, am I supposed to do that properly, or is there supposed to be an event in the hostess storyline that just clears that debt or does something to it? And it's like none of that has happened. So I'm like, is this like the Uber achievement? I need to somehow make like 100 million money and give it to this old lady for this Ming vase I broke.
Did you like brush past it or something?
Yeah, basically. Oh no, she was in trouble, I think. And you beat up a bunch of people.
Story.
Yeah, you beat up a bunch of people nearby, and you accidentally punched the vase or something.
What, while defending her?
Yeah.
And now you owe her like 100 million quid. Oh, likely story.
I know, right?
She probably made that in the.
I'm surprised this hasn't come up as like you're just being hideously scammed. Like it just has. It just seems genuine, at least so far. It's weird, and of course there's an arcade you can go find. I think did I mention this before? Where you can go that they call the arcade machines relics. So it's
relics. How come?
You go into it's because like I guess this is like I don't know when like in the timeline this is set after the nukes went off and stuff, but it's like arcade games and stuff aren't really around.
Oh,
but
I see.
You can find some of the treasure maps will lead you to the arcade machines out in the wasteland, and whenever you find them it puts in big text on the screen, relic discovered, you found Space Harrier. And it's like that's quite funny. Relic. I don't know, it's a relic. And you can find a Sega Mark III which has a Fist of the North Star old game on it you can play, which seems impossible, by the way. Literally unbeatable, I think. I need to look up whether that's true or not, but anyway, that's Fist of the North Star. I'll finish that and I'll have a briefer recap next time, hopefully, unless something weird happens. The only other thing I've really started playing because I've been out of the country has been I took my DS with me to Seville.
Not the more expensive.
I
yeah.
I was a bit worried about size and weight and all that kind of stuff, and so I just took my DS with me, and I've started playing Professor Layton and the Curious Village, which is only the second Professor Layton game I've played. The only other one I played was, I think, the most recent one actually, the Miracle Mask, which was, I think, the last one they put out on 3DS. I might be wrong on that. They might have put out another one, but anyway. Still waiting for that Professor Layton in the World of Steam or whatever. Come on, you've let me down on my fantasy.
The World of Steam.
Yeah. That's still supposedly coming out for Switch sometime soon. Sometime. I shouldn't say soon. We don't know. It's been in development for ages. Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you think it is. It's it's a visual novel with classic riddles and puzzles to solve along the way. It's exactly what you'd expect, I suppose. It's there'll be the puzzle about, hey, you've got 3 water jugs, all of them of the wrong size, but you want to measure out a certain amount of water from it. How do you do it? Oh, hey, there's a sliding block puzzle here. How do you solve it? Here's a logic puzzle. Can you figure it out? Hey, let's do this. Hey, can you visualize this stuff in 3D that's not in 3D? So, because it's a 3D puzzle that we flattened to 2D. Hey, that's the challenge. Can you do it? It's all that kind of stuff. Which is, for the most part, quite engaging, honestly, because you're like, well, you don't know what you're going to get next. You're looking at it, and they are quite... Yeah, it's nice. I don't know, puzzles can be nice. Except for when they're not. Which leads me...
It's all fine until it's a shit puzzle.
Yeah, of which... I think this was less true of Miracle Mask, but in this one in particular, I feel like I'm coming across more puzzles than not where I get it wrong, and then I sit back and I have another think about what it's trying to tell me, and then I'm like, no, I don't understand what you're going. So then you can find hint coins, and then so you run through the hints to try and see if you can figure out how to get on its wavelength, and then you get the answer, and then you come out of the puzzle and you go, no, I still think that's bullshit. like some of the ones, it's usually the ones around like logic problems or ones that require you to have a tiny, I wouldn't call it lateral thinking per se, but they are sometimes problems that refer to something slightly outside the scope of what it talked about in the intro, and they go, but you didn't think of this, and it's like, no, I didn't, because it wasn't part of the goddamn problem. Let me try and give you an example of one that I can remember. Astronauts go to the moon and they take a 600-gram weight and a set of scales with them, and the game tells you that it's like this: the gravity on the moon is such that everything weighs 6 times less. Don't read into the science too much on that. They just say everything weighs 6 times less.
Right.
If we put this weight on the scales, what would the scales say? And your options are 0, less than 100, 100, or more than 100. So it's done the obvious bit for you, right? It's taken the 600-gram weight and said, like, it's 6 times less, therefore it's going to be near 100. But then it's like, why is it giving me these 4 options? It's like, and I didn't really understand what it was trying to say, because it's like, in my head, it's like, well, obviously the answer is, if everything is as you've described, obviously the answer is 100 Gs, like on the dot. But it goes, you didn't think about the scales. And I'm like, didn't I? Okay, well, what are you trying to tell me? And it turns out that the answer it was after for is it would be less than 100 Gs. And I'm like, okay, why? Because they calibrated it on Earth, and then they just brought it with them, and then they just did it again. And because of the way the 0 point would have been off, and I'm like, these guys are fucking astronauts. Like, they would have calibrated their shit.
Like, come on. I
was pretty pissed off at that one. I'm just like, nah, that's not right. Not right. And there was another one that was like one of those classic, like, here's 3 statements. Can you tell us which one is one of them is lying. Can you tell them which one is lying? And it goes, well, it's this one because of this. And I'm like, I can't remember the details on this one exactly, but there definitely was another way that could have been wrong. And like, when you work through the logic of it, you're just like, no, actually, like, there's actually 2 ways to look at this. This isn't a perfect problem. Like, and it's not that difficult to see that there's a second outcome for this, because they were like, it was like three brothers have eaten a fish. Well, there's a fish dinner.
Right,
there's a fish dinner, and you don't know you turn your back and you don't know which of these three people has eaten this fish. And it's like the first one, like brother A says, "Yeah, I ate it." The brother B says, let me think, what exactly was it? Brother B says, "I saw A eat it," and brother C says, "B and I didn't eat it."
Oh my god! Why am I doing this with my free time?
I know.
That's what I'd be thinking.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. But anyway,
this game.
But anyway, I ran through those options, and it's like, they were like, but two people ate it. You didn't think two people could have eaten it together, and it's like, well, actually, no. There's a way. If you're going to go down that road and be like, okay, it's not one person that ate it, it's two people that ate it, which I'm not even entirely sure I followed their logic on that one. And it's like, if you're going to start thinking that way, then it's like, the guy that could have been lying could have been the guy that said, "Yeah, I saw A eat it," and you just didn't see him eat it, right? Like that he was lying because he didn't see him eat it, and those two ate it, like, and he ate it himself, right? Like it's yeah. I haven't explained that particularly well. I'm sure I've missed the nuance in the wording of the question there, but like. There was like, I looked at it for a while afterwards and was just like, nah, fuck you. I'm not following your logic there. And that's happened a few times in this game, and it's like, I don't remember it happening as frequently in Miracle Mask, but I guess that's the nature of these sorts of puzzles. It's like there's going to be some stuff that's weird, and there is going to be some stuff that's absolutely bang on hard truth. There's nothing you could have done to get that right or wrong. Like, I prefer the ones where it is like, oh, that's a solid answer and I understand why. Might still cock those up every now and then because
sure.
I'm not super bright, but and it's always disappointing to know you're not that smart.
I don't think it's you, Rob.
But I do like the vibe of those games. I wish the one thing I wish they would do on these Professor Layton games, and this was a problem in Miracle Mask as well, is that the puzzle music, the music that plays in the background while you've got a puzzle open, you can't turn it off, and it's the same for every cocking puzzle. So it gets boring real fast, and kind of annoying real fast. Not only that, they never changed that music between versions of Professor Layton, as it turns out. It's the same music that was playing during Miracle Mask, so it's like, yeah, that's a bit lazy. They could do something more of that. It's like, there's nothing wrong with the audio design of that game apart from the puzzle music. Like, there really needs to be more variation there, or at least a way to say, no, you know what, when I'm answering a puzzle, I don't need the music, because what I'm doing is I'm turning the volume slider off while I'm figuring it out, and then turning it back on as soon as I've inputted an answer, so I can and that's just that's a step that doesn't need to exist. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing in games specifically. There is something else I want to talk about that's kind of tech.
Oh, okay.
But tech related to gaming. It's that I think is kind of interesting.
Keyboards.
No, not keyboards. So okay. I think we talked about it a while back, like how, like, remember when, Zach, when you and I tried Steam linking to my TV from my PC?
Yes.
And it was mostly okay, but you could feel the latency, right? Okay, yes, we gave it an incredibly hard test. We played Lethal Link. But I think that in general there was definitely a feelable latency to everything. So I tried something else in that space. I tinkered around with this a little bit yesterday. So you can use there's this thing called Sunshine, and the client Moonlight, that is a project that is based around the tech that NVIDIA developed for the NVIDIA Shield. Now, I think that it's sort of immediately sort of think, that holds some promise, right? Because NVIDIA Cloud, or whatever they call their cloud streaming service, is the best one out there in terms of both their latency and quality of output. So, okay, these guys might know a thing or two about latency and about getting this working. Turns out this totally bloody works, and it works really bloody well. It's pretty incredible how well it works, actually. So on my PC, I run this client. I'm not actually using Sunshine directly. I'm using a fork of it called Apollo. But that runs on your system. I'm using Apollo for the reason that it creates a virtual screen. So it creates a non-real physical screen for Windows.
Right.
And then starts making that available to streaming. Now, you would then install your Moonlight client on a Steam Deck, say, and then your PC just streams to your Steam Deck with incredibly low latency and pretty good image quality. Like, it's hard to... It's been... Yeah, I ran Forza Horizon for it, talking about Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
And it looked real good. It's got
wow.
It looked real good and felt real good. Even just, like, paging through menus and stuff. Like, latency is really good. Like, really impressive stuff. So I might, like... this might open up a few, like, possibilities for me, because in theory, I mean, I could load, like, high-end games on my PC and do the thing I prefer to do, which is play in front of my TV. Without cables, without running ridiculous HDMI setup somewhere. I was doing all of this over my Wi-Fi. And it runs really well. It's pretty impressive. So yeah, recommend if you're looking for a solution to this kind of problem, where your PC is somewhere other than your TV, but you still want to potentially use it. Like, apparently there's a Moonlight client for Xbox. So I haven't tried that yet, but I might do, because then in theory what you could then do is make your virtual screen an HDR screen. And then if that's streaming to my Xbox, which obviously is HDR capable and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I now have an HDR output from my PC. Like a proper HDR output from my PC.
Yeah. With that, which will work properly.
Yeah. And if it feels good, because my controller will be going to the Xbox and then it's sending the control input to the PC, so maybe there's an extra. But it didn't feel like it, right? I was using the controller on my Steam Deck when I was doing Forza Horizon, and that felt okay. So yeah, maybe a little more experimentation needed with this. Like, maybe try it through my Xbox, maybe see if I can get HDR functioning. But this seems incredibly promising.
Well, that's how did you turn out for the books? You must have just thought...
No, this was literally one of those... a random video turned up on YouTube.
Oh, it's a video. Okay.
Yeah, a random video on YouTube turned up of someone... I can't remember who it was, apologies. Claiming, I've cracked it. I found a solution that finally works. And I read this. Obviously, they hadn't cracked it. Like, that's not... It was...
No.
Like, shit title.
But it's clickbait. Yeah.
But like, they were just like, yeah, there's this project you can do and it works. And it's like, okay, let's give that a go. And they were right.
This video is relevant to my interests.
Indeed.
Well done, YouTube algorithm for a change.
Yeah, they got it right. So yeah,
amazing.
Maybe we'll experiment a bit with that when Zach and I want to play something else on the TV that's not Hyrule Warriors.
Okay.
Speaking of...
I don't think we've got much to say actually on that this week. I don't know, because we didn't...
Stabby stab.
Yeah, I wasn't around, so we haven't played too much of it since last time. I guess we unlocked a few more.
I think we talked about that last time, though, didn't we? I feel like we didn't play it since the last time we talked about it on the podcast.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, I don't. Maybe you're right. We haven't played it since last time, so I don't think we've got anything to add on that front. It's just more stabbing. So my segue falls flat.
All right. Well, in that case, it's a hard no segue, hard cut to Zachary Burgess. What have you been playing when your PC hasn't been on fire or whatever? I guess you've got a Switch, so that's quite good.
Exactly. Well, it's like I had played some amount of Minecraft Effect Drawing before the PC came out, but there wasn't anything to talk about on those. It was okay, because when it did give out, I was like, okay, now it's time for, well, I guess, to not talk about the games and talk about random tech again, because I didn't have my PC. It was like, now I'm for the first time ever really using my phone to watch YouTube.
Oh wow. Okay.
But that was interesting because it's, my Google account, it has all my YouTube history,
right? Yeah.
And therefore the algorithm and everything, so it's still recommending the exact same videos. But the thing that's weird is that, like, because it is mobile, it's different adverts.
Oh, is it?
But the thing that's really weird about that is that I'm getting, like, less adverts for mobile games on the mobile version of YouTube. Somehow.
Okay, that is quite weird.
And I'm getting adverts for, like, normal-looking but still shit games. So I don't know what's up with that. But yes.
What is okay, have you got an example of one of these? Like...
No, not really. I mean, it seems like there's a couple of them that are, like, clicker, like, games.
Right.
Which might still be mobile. It's kind of hard to tell, but they look a bit more like, you know... Well, they look a bit more real for a start. It's like this game actually looks like what it is, not the fake bullshit adverts that mobile games do. But yes, I thought that was just funny because it's like it's my exact watch history. It's the exact theoretically same algorithm, but because of the different advertising space on the mobile one, it's like for some reason the mobile games aren't advertised on the mobile one. I guess they've like is that some marketing thing where it's like you don't need to advertise mobile games to people on mobile because they're already on the mobile where they're getting the mobile games. Advertise to the other market, try and draw them in.
Yeah, weird. Yeah, cross advertising is like, yeah, I could sort of see it, but it seems oddly backwards.
Yes. And also my phone, like, I don't know if it's just because I'm not used to it, but like whenever I try and turn my phone sideways to, you know, full screen the video, essentially, it's like I somehow keep hitting the adverts because, like, on the vertical layout of when you're playing a video, an advert is the bottom half of that window, basically.
Right.
And then when you turn it, obviously the video takes up the whole screen. But in the process of turning it, I keep accidentally somehow getting the hit on the advert.
Oh.
And then, like, it pops up a different browser window or whatever.
And you're like, ugh, back.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also the format of adverts on mobile is weirdly, like... They have they split the screen in half, basically, where it has, like, the actual video of the advert and then, like, the text half of the advert on the other side of the screen.
I've seen my TV do that. Yeah.
And it's like, that seems weird that you're going to, like, even more restrict the amount of video on this tiny screen.
Yeah.
To, like, half as much as you could have.
I've seen my TV do it, and I've seen it also do that, but makes, like, the a QR code pop out massive.
Sure.
Which kind of makes sense on a TV, but... because you're not using your phone at the time. But...
Right, yeah. So that was mobile YouTube. But the main reason that I've been using my phone, of course, is because I'm using the Zelda Notes.
Oh,
Because I'm playing a shit ton of Breath of the Wild.
Oh, you've gone back to that. Okay.
What a game. My favourite game ever, I think.
Yep.
Apart from, yeah, no, it is. No, I was saying, like, the best game ever is probably Tetris, but, I mean...
Yeah. And, like, non-subjectively, probably Tetris, but...
Yeah.
But yeah, I went back to play a shit ton of Breath of the Wild. It actually, because of the Zelda Notes, is kind of funny. Is like it's like incredibly optimized Zelda. I mean, I was already optimizing it because I was like, obviously do things in the correct order in the game, where it's like immediately go and get Rivali's Scale and just
right.
Although I had. Again, once managed to forget that, like, if you do that, if you go to Rito Town first to get Rivali's Gale first, because that's the most useful power, you're going to run out of arrows all the time because you didn't go up Zora's River where you get all the shit ton of arrows.
Yeah, which is the farming route where I just do that over and over and over. I've probably done that so many times. And getting to the, like, where they're all electric in that, like, weird area. Yeah. That never gets... like trivially easy. Well, maybe it does, but
I mean those Zelfos up there don't level up, right? They're always green or blue. There's a couple of blue ones up there. They don't become like silver or whatever at any point.
Yeah, but the electric ones are always annoying because of all the water around there and stuff.
Even when it's not raining, there's still just pools of water on that bit of road.
Yeah.
Man, that whole section of the game felt so different in Breath of the Wild compared to... like,
massively.
There's plenty of parts of the game where I like tie the two games together, like in my head, and I find them a little bit hard to distinguish. But Zora's River, right? That's just like the.
Do you even go up there in?
You don't really have to in Tears of the Kingdom, but I did anyway, and it's like it just wasn't the same. Like, it didn't feel the same. I didn't get the same vibe from it that I remember getting from, like, maybe fairly early. Because I think I did Mifa first, right? I did, like, when I played Breath of the Wild.
Well, yeah, the sort of default way it suggests you to do it almost.
And I remember that whole segment having such a different moody feel and being kind of an important progression, or feeling a little bit more traditional Zelda in a weird way. Like, it's like, I've got to get through this thing.
I gotta get through this. Yep.
Yeah, something that just isn't really a problem in when you go back to it. Tears, but it probably doesn't. But it just looked different. It just looked different. I don't know what it is. There's a vibe.
The vibes are just very different.
Yeah,
in those games, which is on purpose, right? It's like the Majora's Mask vibes are so different to Ocarina vibes. But yeah, I mean, obviously different worlds, whereas Tears is obviously largely the same world.
It's almost unrecognizable.
Yeah, they really achieved because that's what they knew. The whole team must have known. Like, everyone's just going to say we're lazy because we're reusing the world, and it's like, no, we're going to massively change, make it totally different vibes.
Yeah, it's strange.
Anyway.
It's strange how they made that work, even given how much of the game is the same game. Like, I don't really understand the magic there.
What do you miss the most when you're playing Breath, Zach?
Right, because they never backported the quality of life changes.
Well, yeah,
they should have done that.
They really should have done
chest thing.
Well, yeah, the chest thing would definitely have helped. Although I think I adapted to that pretty quickly. It took me longer to adapt to not having Tulin to boost me every time I jump off something.
Right.
Every time I'm just really slowly paragliding, it's like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I'd forgotten that noise. Now it's
tap, 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 tap. I'm like waiting until the bar is about to the cooldown's about to end, and then I'm tap, 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 tap until so I can hit it exactly when the cooldown ends. So stupid.
But the actual thing with Zelda Notes, the optimization is just because you just have the map which shows everything, like all the Koroks and everything on it. I'm just going directly point to point on everything. So it's I had basically by the time I got to Korok Forest, which I did after the second Divine Beast, before Death Mountain, so I'd already done the Rito and the Zora one. It then went down to the forest because I guess that makes sense in direction. But by the time I got there, it was I could just max out my weapon inventory immediately because I've got so many Koroks. Because I've just been clearing them off the map as I go.
Right, yeah. Can you play that? I wonder if that's a fun, a weird way to play that game where it's you have a hard rule where you have to do the nearest icon to you. Because that means there must be a very clear path, right? That you're then forced to take.
Well, I mean, the way I'd been doing it anyway was just you sort of look at the topography of the map and just be all these Koroks are sort of in this general area of this map, within the cliffs or whatever of this area. So I might as well just go around and clearing all them up. So I was just doing chunks of the map. I've basically done the entire top right third of the map is just clear of icons now because I've done everything in there.
Jeez.
Sweet.
Although weirdly, I found a couple of places. Well, I found one place so far where there wasn't a map icon, and it was oh, they've screwed up because the map icon, the map has icons for all the Hinoxes and the Taluses and the Lynels, so you can mark off which ones you already killed. But I found a Lynel that wasn't marked. And it was oh, they've screwed up.
Interesting.
They've forgotten this one when they were making the app.
Huh. I mean, maybe this is a second. Maybe Zelda Notes should be a second playthrough thing. But
yes.
I wasn't even remotely tempted to try it when I upped to the Switch 2 version of.
Yeah, I
Tears.
didn't download it. But then I wasn't trying to do any kind of collectathon stuff at all. Yeah. To be fair,
well, I mean,
I don't even really. I know they needed to add to the Korok stuff for Tears of the Kingdom, and it was kind of cute. But I would constantly, I would always come back to the my friends on the other side of this valley. It's I'm not. That's not the way I'm going.
Yeah. I know. I mean, obviously Breath of the Wild still had that as well, but with the race ones, basically, where it's you stand on the platform and it spawns a thing over the other side of this valley, and it's well, that's kind of not the direction I'm going right now.
Yeah,
yeah, but it was less prevalent. It was every single one of those, and you got 2 Koroks for completing one of those, of course, because you get both the Koroks. And it's oh. So my Tears map was always marked with a million little leaves.
Yes.
Where
Where
I'd
you
marked
come back
where
to
the
them.
Korok was that I couldn't be bothered to do, and I was actually never going to come back and do.
Yes.
Yep.
But that is the other thing about the Zelda notes, just for clearing stuff up, is like because you can just go directly between them. That also was like much helped by the already optimization of like immediately having Rivali's Gale, and I also went and got the teleporting horse armor, so I could just have my horse wherever without having to worry about that. And then I got the
Was that DLC edition? I don't remember that.
yes, it's part of the DLC
Okay.
pack, and I also got the like placeable teleporter as well that lets you just put down a teleport point wherever. It was
Right.
like that. I haven't used that much, but you know, occasionally where it's like, oh, I forgot this one Korok, but it's down the bottom of this giant cliff compared to the zone I'm in. But then you just put the teleport point up there and then just jump off and teleport back up afterwards.
I forgot that existed for so much of my playthrough through Tears, and then when I did remember that existed, it's like, oh, game changer.
Yeah, they just give you it. Well, eventually it is. I guess you have to do quite a lot of work to get that. Rather than just finding it in one of the labyrinths in Breath of the Wild, as it is in that when they put that in via the DLC. Mm-hmm. It's in the bottom of the one with all the Guardians in. But yeah, once I got used to it again, it's like, oh yeah, Guardians, no problem. I'll just reflect everything and stab all their legs off, as you do.
I'll stab your legs off.
I mean, the reflecting timing is absurdly easy, actually, isn't it?
Yes.
Compared to like the parry timing.
Well, I mean, yeah, but no one ever learns the parry timing because there's no reason to. Because Flurry Rush is way better.
Yeah.
If even more unpredictable.
Well, that was another thing where it's like, as soon as I started to get back into it, I got back into it. It's like, oh yeah, I've remembered how ridiculously early you can be on a lot of these. Where it's like, this is just way before the attack even starts almost. And then the occasional ones where it's like, oh yeah, I remember this one is the one that's too awkward to bother with, where it's just like, it doesn't work.
I guess there's your Hyrule Warriors
Maybe.
trading. It seems just as awkward in this.
But we definitely haven't had as long to get used to it.
No.
And then the other thing about Zelda Notes that I've also been not exploiting as much as I thought I would, but is also kind of cool, I guess, to exploit for efficiency's sake, is like depositing weapons into the storage. Because it's like, if your inventory's full, just put them into the storage instead.
Oh, how does that work then? Do you have to go to a specific place on the map to then recall
No.
them? Wait, it's just more storage.
Yeah, it's just a button in your inventory. You can only upload 10 things per 24 hours, and then there's a cooldown.
Interesting.
But you can take out as many as you want, as far as I can tell.
Huh. Okay, so they're trying not to undermine the inventory too much, but that's exactly what it's doing.
Yes.
Weird.
And it's very convenient for, like, if you happen to remember things in advance of, like, you know, those quests where you need to show people a certain weapon,
Right.
like a fire rod, and you're like, oh, I don't want to come and carry this fire rod around with me taking up space. Well, just upload it, and then when you need it, you just get it.
Yeah.
Solves that problem real good.
It's a quest item storage. Sort of.
Although, well, what I sort of tried to use it for was to just, like, every time I found an extra sledgehammer, I just put that in there, because it's like, every time you want to mine and you don't have a sledgehammer, it's just like, well, now you do. You've got a massive bank of extra sledgehammers sitting around.
That's a pretty good idea.
But I haven't really used that many yet. Although, actually, that's mainly because I've just been up Death Mountain, and it's just like, you know, it's all sledgehammers up there, basically, and drill shafts, the other mining tool. And you can upload other stuff in there if you want, like not weapons, like, you know, regular items. And then theoretically, you can trade it into Tears of the Kingdom as well. Although I think with weapons, there's some kind of limit to that. I'm not sure whether it allows you to just freely transfer. Obviously, some of the weapons don't even exist in Tears of the Kingdom.
That's what I was going to say.
So I haven't actually tried that, moving any of the stuff up to Tears of the Kingdom, because it's like, would they even come out clean or whatever in Tears of the Kingdom, like undecayed?
You'd think, right?
You'd think, yeah. And if you sent them the other way, they should just. Could you send a decayed one back and have it come out clean?
That's a good question. Yeah, so is there a system that is there a laundry you can do there?
Double upload.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ran around and cleared out a third of the map, and like as usual, immediately harvested a bunch of dragon parts because it's like, oh, upgrade the champions to like immediately because that's the only armor that matters. And I actually found a better place to grind for the fire dragon as well compared to where I usually did it. Because I usually did it in the canyon, which is fine, but it takes a little longer to spawn all the way down there. Whereas if you go to the back of Death Mountain, it spawns like immediately.
So how did I forget, was the dragons because they did words. Did they change the spawning system between Breath and Tears? Like, could you sleep and the dragons would move based on time of day? Or because in Tears they kind of don't, right?
Yeah, Tears are just on a loop.
Yeah.
But it's not a very long loop. And, like, you're always guaranteed to, like... I don't know if it is on a 24-hour timer as well, but on
I'm
a
not
loop.
sure it is.
Or, like, yeah, maybe not. But
I don't think it was timed to... I think it was more just, like, game time tied rather than...
Right.
So if you skipped time, like, the dragon would actually just be where it was.
Oh, yeah, it didn't move if you, like, slept at a campfire or whatever.
Yeah, so you...
Because you could do that right next to it.
Yeah, so you couldn't cheese that.
Right, yeah, and then it had, like, the limit on... it was, like, an actual real-time limit on how soon you could harvest it again, rather than just passing days in game. Mm. But obviously, Breath of the Wild is the old system where you just, provided you've built a campfire in the right place, you can be like the dragon spawning right next to you within like 20 seconds, and then just harvest the thing off it, then go back to the same campfire, light it back up, and wait another day, and then it'll be there again. Super quick.
I don't remember ever doing that in either game, other than I think at the start of Breath, right? It shows you can put a pot on a fire, right, or something.
Well, it's making a fire out of wood and flint, right? Is the passing time.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever did that.
That's the only time I ever did it was for dragons. I don't think I ever... Well, maybe a couple of times. It's like when it's mainly the only other reason you do it is if it's raining a bunch and you just want to get rid of the rain, provided you can find somewhere that's undercover to build a fire in.
You can't build one. You're not going to just be able to...
Yes, you can't build a little hut.
Yeah.
Like Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, I played a ton of that. And there's like... With the phone... I was also trying to get the voice memories, obviously. That was the other reason for doing this with the phone.
Sure.
For theoretical new content, I suppose. But so some of the times I was doing my double headphones... putting the earbud headphones under my actual headphones. But some of the times I was just like, if I hear it start up a voice memory, I'll just take my headphones off for a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of those voice memories have been...
Is that how it works? They just sort of start playing?
Yeah, it's like you go to the point on the map and then it just starts playing through the phone.
Weird.
Because the phone knows where you are, obviously. Because it's updating in real time from the sync with the game. But yeah, some of those voice memories are interesting, and some of them are kind of weird, and some of them are kind of pointless. And sometimes they
I imagine they're all pointless, right? Like,
well, I mean, like, the trouble is there's quite a lot of variance between the good ones and the bad ones, where it's just like, sometimes it's like, oh, so here's some kind of actually interesting lore about the past. But then sometimes they kind of almost forget that they're meant to be about the past. Like, when you get to the dye shop in Hatano, the voice log is talking about how the owner is really eccentric. And it's like, yeah, but that's not this guy. That would have been like his granddad. But I mean, they could both have been eccentric, but that's not like, that's only implied.
I can see what you mean. It would feel kind of weird, even though like there's a 100-year difference.
And then there was a couple of cases where I thought I was in a place and I was like, oh, this seems like this should be an interesting voice log, and it was just pointless and dumb. Like that field in the middle of Akala where there's just a shit ton of rusted up guardians in this swamp. I'm like, oh, this surely this
battlefield thing. Yeah,
surely this voice log. Well, not the Hatano one though, because that one is actually more important. It's like the one up in Akala where it's just like, it just seems like a weird swamp area with a bunch of guardians in beneath the citadel or whatever. I was like,
oh right, yeah.
Surely this is going to have an interesting voice log. It'll be like, oh, this was a Guardian training ground or something because they were right next to the Citadel or whatever. This is where they were staging them. But then you get there and Zelda's just talking about the ruins, not about anything to do with Guardians. No. It's like, well, that's disappointing.
What's the story here, man?
That's what they should have been for. They should have been for the story. About, like... I mean, there are a couple of that are like that, where, like, if you go to... There was one that I just did where it's one of those little burnt-out village ruins, like, up on the backside of Death Mountain that you have no reason to ever go to if you're playing Breath of the Wild normally. Like, there's nothing up there at all. Just, like, an enemy. Not even a Korok or anything. Or, well, maybe a chest. But then, like, you go to that ruin, it's like, oh, this actually tells you a little bit about the little village that used to be there. Sort of, but not really. It's more like the name of it, and the name appears on the actual map anyway. But yeah, I've been running around and collecting all that shit. Getting the voice logs. Sometimes they are a bit inconveniently positioned where they're just like, this is right on top of, because obviously they've put them in important locations when they're not just out in the world, but then like when they're in important locations, it's like it's on top of what you're actually doing in the game. It's like, I'm about to talk to the Zora King, but there's a voice log right in front of him because that's where the voice log trigger is.
Right.
So I have to stand there for a minute while I'm listening to my phone before I can actually talk to him in the game. Or do both at the same time.
I'm just now imagining, like, the Zora King just sort of sitting there going, Link, you all right, mate? You're just standing there going...
Well, it's more funny if you imagine it, if it was Link actually using the Sheikah Slate to get the voice memories. So he's just, like, running around looking, like, oh, shit, my phone's ringing, basically. Like, I've got to stop and listen to this woman talk for a minute.
Yeah. Like, he's just holding this slate to his face and, like, just sort of, like, the King's, like, going, hey, like, and he's, like, putting his finger out, like, exactly. Hold on a sec.
Gotta listen to this thing. And I have had that problem in reverse in real life where I've been looking at the map on my phone whilst I'm trying to run somewhere and been like, oops, I've just run off a cliff. Because I was only looking at the phone map and not looking at the game for a second. Or you run into just some enemies because they don't show up on any of the maps. So it's just like, oh, I've run into an enemy camp by accident.
2-screen gaming, man. They were onto something. Smart glass, Wii U.
I mean, it would be way more convenient if you had the ability to, like, you know, mount the phone somewhere in your eye line. You could attach it to the side of your actual screen or something.
Or, you know, just put it in the game.
Well, sure. But then it wouldn't work, though. You'd have to have, like, what, like a picture-in-picture almost, like, put a little pop out.
Why would you need that, though? Just put it on the map.
Yeah, but you want it open all the time because that's the functionality of this, is to be able to essentially have a mini-map that's actually useful.
Have a mini-map.
Not as functional as it should be. So yeah, that's Zelda Notes, mainly, and a bunch of Breath of the Wild. Maybe I'll clear up this whole map this time, if I continue playing this.
Jesus.
I mean,
do you think it's going to be quite a quick run? Like define how long this is going to take you. Like,
well, I don't know. It seems like it might be pretty quick. I mean, obviously there's a shit ton of Koroks, but once you know, when you're pathing directly between them and not stopping for anything, not stopping to fight anything, because obviously it's Breath of the Wild, you don't need to fight anything ever for any reason. Even when you're just playing the game normally, just run past everything. And obviously, again, optimizing Breath of the Wild from knowing all the tricks of being like, oh, I'm just going to make triple tier haste potions and just run everywhere super quick. I've even been occasionally using the stealth armor just for the nighttime speed boost.
Has a nighttime speed boost?
Yep, the set bonus for the stealth armor.
Oh, yeah.
It's essentially like, I don't think it's a 3-tier haste boost. It might only be like a 2-tier of equivalent potion, essentially. And you can't stack it, I don't think.
Right.
But it's basically free at night.
I think I wore that Sheikah armor the most, probably, in Breath.
I mean, stealth is not, like, super useful. That's the problem.
It was I guess maybe it was the speed boost. Or but it was like, I wanted the stealth while I was running around, and then as soon as I had to do battle, I just switched.
Well, yeah. But then you have to go to a whole menu. That's the actual inconvenience of that.
Yeah,
having to go all the way into the and it's a tabbed menu once you have enough armor as well. It's like it's really annoying.
Yeah.
I mean,
of life.
I suppose one of the other things that the stealth armor does give you is just like you can grab butterflies without scaring them off by just walking normally. You don't have to even crouch.
Right.
As long as you're not literally sprinting, none of the like critters run away from you any longer, which makes them capturing all that shit much easier. Or if you wanted to be real cheese, you could start... I only did this like once because I remembered the technique, but like the infinite backstab trick, that's only really useful in master mode where the enemies have so much fucking health because you get like the gold ones or whatever. But good old infinite backstabs.
How do you pull that off?
Well, when you do a sneak attack on an enemy, they like tense up and then they ragdoll and then they jump back up. But when they jump back up, they always turn 180 degrees round to look at what hit them, basically. But because they're not aware of what's going on during that whole sequence, you just do the backstab and then move 180 degrees behind them before they even stand back up. Yeah. And even though they stand up facing you, they don't perceive you, and then they just turn away and then their back's facing you again, so they just backstab.
They still do the animation. Yeah.
And you can chain that infinitely, which is pretty funny.
Funny and quite useful against gold. The Zelfos or whatever.
Yes, if it's a master mode and you need to deal with something with 1,000 hit points,
get your arrows. Yeah,
just infinite backstabs.
Nice. Well, what a game.
Yeah. Oh, and I also immediately got like the master sword and everything. Dealt with that. Haven't done the sword trials or thought about doing the sword trials yet. Don't know if I will. I mean, it's not master mode, so it should be relatively easy, right?
Right.
Sword trials were still pretty difficult, even when I did them in normal.
Let's see if your PC gets fixed tomorrow, and then.
Well, yeah, exactly. That will happen, and then hopefully I won't have to continue playing forever. I can actually play like DRG Season 6, which came out exactly at the wrong time for me.
Wait, what? Oh boy, right, okay.
Yes, that came out on Thursday, basically.
This changes everything.
This changes Rob's plans, except not really, because we said last week that he should come back to DRD, and then he didn't know when the thing came out anyway, so it didn't matter. So I would have still had to say this to prompt him to remember.
I haven't exactly had time, so yeah.
Well, yes, that as well. And also, you know, as we talked about previously about Dirk Season 6, it's probably not that much of an update, really. Although, you know, I haven't fully seen it, so I don't know how if there is any extra stuff to it, but I don't think there is. It's a season pass anyway, so grind those points. And I did finish Season 5 before my computer died, so
okay, you got there.
Clean on going into Season 6. So that will be hopefully what's going to be happening next.
Dirking.
Once my PC gets fixed. For however long that lasts, before I go back to Factorio and Minecraft again.
No Hightail yet?
No, we still haven't. Well, I mean, we were still managing to play Minecraft until my PC died, so.
Right, yeah. Or Vintage Story. Still waiting on updates. Oh.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Oh, right, yeah, I've seen a few preview videos that they've been putting up for, like, the new stuff coming in the next patch of Vintage Story, because the last two, I guess, have been more about adding the story chapters. So they've been, like, you know, large patches, but mostly story content and, like, the items and stuff to make the story content work. But this next one is supposedly going to be more mechanical in both senses of the word, as in like mechanics, and also more to do with the gearing and windmills and stuff, like other things you could attach to that. I think the idea is there's going to be like a sword sharpening system with a grindstone of some kind. Not sure how that's going to be especially useful, or rather interesting, I guess. It's just like you're going to sharpen your sword on the grindstone once and that will be it. I guess. Like, how are you going to make that system interesting? But they're going to be putting in fishing, of course, because you've always got to have fishing. Will it be overpowered? Because that's one of the problems of Vintage Story's mods. Well, one of the mods of Vintage Story has, like, it's not fishing, it's like fish trap fishing. But because it's just like an infinite source of food, it's like that's well overpowered in the like survival aspect of Vintage Story. Because the actual fish that you get in default Vintage Story don't respawn very quickly, and they don't give you fucking virtually any food anyway. Which I guess is kind of balanced. But once you can generate infinite fish just by attaching a fishing hook to a rod on a pool and not actually even having to physically be there to fish, it's just automatic. That's well overpowered. So I don't know how the real fishing that they're putting in is going to compare.
Teach a man to infinitely fish. It'll be well overpowered for a lifetime.
Sure will. Hopefully it won't be balanced in the opposite direction, which I feel like sometimes the stuff in Vintage Story is where it's too late game. like the pottery kiln, where it's like, you can build this huge-ass kiln that can cook a shit ton of pots, but by the time you've built that, you're not going to need to cook any more pots, so what's the point?
And then those pots are just going to attack you anyway.
Yeah, clearly. Carry water.
Double fine crossover.
And I think
It's too late game.
I don't know if there was a hint of like they were going to do another layer to the pottery system, because they already changed it so that the different types of clay make the pots different colours. And if you do build the pottery kiln, you can do the even more advanced thing where like you can open the vents different amounts to cook the pottery into different colours as well.
Huh.
So there's 3 types of clay, so you get 3 colours by default, but then each of those 3 different types can be cooked at like 3 different aerations that give them another layer of colour as well.
I wonder if someone's going to add like raku to a pottery sim at some point. I want to burn shit on my pot.
Well, I mean, the classic extension to pottery would be glaze, which they have.
Right,
you know,
yeah.
plenty of Vintage Story mods do that with the pottery system. Sometimes it's just to allow you to make the fancy pots that already exist that are like only available in ruins. Basically reusing the model, essentially. Creating a system via a mod to be able to create those yourself. But, you know, it would make sense to have a even more advanced system. But just don't make it too late game that you won't have any reason to do it by the time you can do it. That's the actual problem. And that's games.
Games. What have you been playing, Dan?
Video games. I've been playing my guitar.
Not a video game.
No.
Unless you want to plug it into one of those games that can actually attach to a real guitar.
Yeah, would you try Rocksmith?
Rocksmith? Yeah, I consider it, I suppose. I don't know. I've never tried that. Obviously, I used to play Guitar Hero, and then Rocksmith closer to real guitaring. So, would be.
I mean, it is real guitaring.
Yeah, well, it never really occurred to me. Oh, I suppose. Is that like SingStar, basically, but for guitar?
Oh, yeah.
Something? How does it?
Kinda,
Okay.
yeah. It's got like its own like tablature-based like note system
Okay.
that comes down the screen, and you play 'em up. You play it.
Sounds hard.
Yeah, it does sound hard.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be good enough, but anyway, yeah. Yeah, I put my mini pedal board has now come together in that tiny gap that I had on top of my table next to my guitar amplifier. So it has now got 5 pedals and a proper power supply and a little sort of aluminium board, and it's all attached and it's all wired and stuff. So
Shiny.
yes. So, and I'm very pleased. Like the overdrives are like, it's probably the best guitar pedal I've ever had, and I've had a lot. So I'm very pleased.
Nice.
With both of them, actually. I got 2 like overdrives.
Better
that didn't
than the
exist
Big
before.
Muff Pie.
Well, I was like, I have to have a Big Muff on the board, no matter how small. So I did get a Big Muff for the board, but yeah, I mean, that's only for... that's super high gain, obviously. So it's not for like... The point of this board was for like practicing, basically.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, but I put one on there anyway. I had to have a Big Muff, and I have multiple Big Muffs, as it were. So I already had the nano version of the big box New York City one, which is the standard one, the 2000 Jack White kind of one on my board. And then I had a kit that I made of the Triangle with Muff, which is the original 1971 circuit. So that's good. But basically, and then I have a IC, integrated circuit, instead of transistors, Muff, which is the Smashing Pumpkins one, which for Siamese Dream or whatever. And apparently, like, there was just a period during, I don't know, the 80s where they just ran out of transistors or something, and they were like, "Oh, okay, we'll make a few of them. Somebody make a circuit that's the same but with an integrated circuit." And of course, it sounds slightly different, and they just put them in the same box as the other ones. And now it's like, happens to be the Siamese Dream sound anyway.
Right.
So I have that. But these are from my earlier generation of pedal buying, and like at the time, so I had to make the kit version of the triangle one, and then the integrated circuit one I had to get some guy in North London at the time, I think, to make it for me or whatever, who made other effects and stuff. But now that like things have moved on, and now Electro Harmonics have basically reissued every single one type. So they've reissued. You can now just buy a triangle or an integrated or an IC Big Muff.
Oh, interesting.
But the one I didn't have. I mean, there's various ones. In fact, the first one I ever had was a Russian black box one. I think I gave that to John Barlow. But anyway, the one I've got for this board is official reissue of the Ram's Head Big Muff, which is, I guess, technically it's the David Gilmour and the kind of Dinosaur Jr. one, I guess, the Jay Meskis one. But it does seem like very versatile. Like it can do, I don't know. To a lot of people, they'd all sound the same anyway. But I think it seems like a good one. It's very raspy, but it can do White Stripes fine, and it can do, I don't know. It can do Smashing Pumpkins fine, to be honest. It just doesn't have that distinctive sound of the integrated circuit one. Anyway, so yes, had to have a Big Muff. But that's probably my least used one on the pedal board.
Fair enough.
It's for special.
Yeah. It's on the wrong board.
Yeah, well, I guess so. But I was like, I've got to have a Big Muff. That's my favourite pedal. It's my favourite pedal. I've got to have a Big Muff.
Got to just have some fun there at the end of a sesh.
Exactly. Blast some, I don't know, Cherub Rock or something. Yeah, so that's the current state. So yes, I will get back to gaming now that this is all set up.
You've got to finish that Red Dead Redemption run.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's just like that's the thing. It's like it gets so depressing. I'm like in.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think Donkey's right. Like it does kind of the missions get quite more shooting gallery after the Guarma bit, and I'm just before that basically. I'm in Saint Denis, before that happens.
I suppose you're talking about the bit with the house, the big house you take over, because that's quite gallery-like, isn't it?
Yeah, but it gets like after I just did that mission where you defend that big house, and that I think I talked about it last time, but that had one of those you didn't stick close enough to Sadie kind of things. It's like, God damn it, I was in the middle of a dramatic moment there, and I didn't. You could have like told me that ahead of time, so I had a chance to run over to her before it triggered the failure. But maybe I missed some tiny bit of text in this giant firefight. But yeah, anyway, improve your mission design, Rockstar, for GTA. But yeah, I will. I'm sure I will get back to it. Right,
booyah!
That's the podcast. Check out our YouTube channel. We're playing Skies of Arcadia.
That we are.
But we've missed a week of uploads because Rob wasn't here and I couldn't record myself, so no video.
It all makes sense now. I hadn't asked you about it, but now I understand.
We'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming if Zach's PC gets back up and running, and if it doesn't, it'll be Rob's.
Yes, we've been playing Sky Arcadia on Rob's PC anyway.
On Rob's. So. Yeah. So we'll be back. Yeah, but check out our vast archive, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks with another Saladcast. We'll catch you then.
Bye.
Bye.